What's poppin', people? How we doing today? Back for more VOD review. Hope you're excited. Hope you're feeling good. It's Friday. It's almost the weekend. And I am going to try out something new for this stream. We've got lo-fi background music. Hopefully I don't get copyright for it. I was watching some of the VODs for this series, and it just kind of feels like it's a little empty at times when it's just me talking and in between watching gameplay. So we have lo-fi to fill the gap. Hopefully it's not too loud or anything. Should be fine, I think. I don't have my chat open. Let me get my chat open. As always, we're unprepared. Love to see it. It's not too loud. Cool. Yeah, next week Alonzo will be out. If you guys haven't watched the trailer, I highly recommend it. It's a great trailer. Super excited to edit my reaction down for that one. Haven't done it yet. It'll be out tomorrow. But yeah, today we're doing more VOD review. How many submissions do we got? Oh, we got quite a bit of submissions. We got 8 submissions. I definitely won't be able to get through all 8, but we'll try and get as many as possible. We'll be streaming for 2 to 3 hours-ish, as always. I'm not looking forward to him as an assassin player. Yeah, he's got a lot of single target lockdown and a big AoE ultimate. He's not going to be fun for a lot of different roles. In fact, I don't think anyone really wants to play against him. But should be good. Let me switch over to well, actually, we'll switch over to the rules. If you're new to the series, this is how you submit a VOD review, just so that anyone who's new watching knows how. Welcome to the It's Levi's replay review livestream. Simply fill out the form in the video description or on my community tab ahead of the stream, and your game will be considered for a review during the live stream. Live coaching is completely free, so don't feel the need to super chat or spam the chat trying to get one. It'll be ignored. After the stream, the VOD will stay up so you can always come back to this stream. There will be timestamps in the description in case you missed your review. If you submit a game for a review, you can expect the following. I'm sharing my knowledge and experience with Eternal Return to help you become a better player. All advice, tips, and tricks will be based on my own experiences. The aim is to make you a better player, so please feel free to ask questions in the chat whether it's your own game or someone else's. But do not put anyone down if they make a bad play or die. We're all here to learn and get better. Thank you so much for checking out the stream. Leave a like if you enjoy and let a friend know so we can have more submissions. The more people that submit, the more you're likely to learn. Let's get started. All right, my cat's snoring in the background. I don't think my mic's picking up, but he is having a little nap. First up, as always, we do the first submission that's always submitted. Gotta honor those who are quick. So we have Bread, aka Breadicus. They're playing Sua with a non-premium team. They're unranked. They would like some help with determining who to kill for fights. In other words, how do I determine who to prioritize in killing, and general tips in position and spacing. Anything to help with combat. Sounds good. Hopefully your replay is from the correct patch. And it is. Awesome. Okay, so target selection can be a little difficult, especially because there's so many different team comps in the game. You know, traditional MOBA games like League of Legends, you're dealing with the same 5 characters every game. Gives you a lot of time to pick out which targets you have, but with different teams, this can be a little bit tougher. It's going to depend. Oh, I got an ad on my lo-fi. I was hoping this wouldn't happen. It's going to depend on what your team comp is and what the enemy team comp is. So in your team comp, that's not going to change, so you can identify that at the beginning of the game. You have Haze and Mai with you. Your job is to kind of be a secondary damage dealer to Haze, and then help Mai absorb some of the frontline damage. You can look to use your W on yourself or Haze typically. Typically you're going to try and hit anyone that Mai's taunting. That'll be your easiest bet. I would wait to get these leather. As you can see, you take them a little bit slow. I don't even think Sua needs leather in this build, so I'll just wait to get more items online just to kill chickens if you want them for the XP. It's a little slow to do so now. Yeah, so you want to try and hit Who's Mai's taunting. It'll be easy to follow up with your Q because they'll be standing still. You can also look to engage with this comp. Mai being very short ranged has to double taunt in, or you guys can kite back and peel, which will probably be the better way to fight this comp or play this comp. In terms of like target selection, just like looking in the lobby, typically you're going to want to hit squishies. I think tanks doesn't do too much for Sua unless you kind of need to heal. You can kind of E into a tank just because they're not going to try and reactive dodge it, but you don't want to be doing that if you don't have to. It's going to be Rio in team 1, I or Isol in team 2, Bernice in team 4. Sorry, not team 2, team 3. Probably Yuki. Well, Yuki's actually not that big of a threat to your team. Might even be Chiara, trying to burst her down before she gets her ult resets. In team 5, Isol in team 6, Nadine in team 7. Backline marksman's always going to be a big threat, especially to your team having double melee. Don't want to get poked down before a fight, and your Hazes should be able to outpoke any of her counterparts. Once again, I'd wait a little bit longer on taking items, or on taking chickens, just so that you take them a little bit quicker than what you're doing. Hey Len, how's it going? Animal hunt should not take you more than a few seconds, and by this time, like on night 1, you want to hopefully be done your build. We're only 2 items in, so a little less time killing animals and a little faster getting your items, so you should be good. And then once you're finished your build, you can then start to hunt animals. You'll be a lot safer in case someone comes by. The difference being like you're level 6, yeah, which is great, but you're level 6 with 2 items, level 7 even with 3 items, right? Being level 5 in full build is going to be stronger than being level 7 with 3 items. And then you'll also be able to take these bears as well, or a large portion of your XP. Also trying to group up the hunts together whenever you do take them. Just makes things quicker. Everything is about speed. Prioritizing builds first rather than hunts might be a good idea. Well said. Definitely agree.
Should we take bets on who can catch more people? Taking them down one.
Can't hunt animals if you're dead because you didn't build. Learn that lesson the hard way. Yep. All right, we're full build.
This is the beginning.
We're at an objective, which is good. I like that. We're here for meteorite. Sua typically wants to go to a meteorite on day 2 because of magic stick. It's a very strong transition.
Break time is over. Time to
Our food's a little rough at the moment, but
one
that will improve as you play the game more. You can also just use this campfire to turn your ramen into heated ramen. Or stir-fried ramen, or one of the, whatever the food's called. We got pizza as well. I get to pick here, which is good. Typically, if that's a full team though, you want to react a little bit quicker just so that your team's not starting the fight 2v3 without you. Realistically, they should also not take a fight if you're crafting food, but just in general. Doesn't hurt to be perceptive. You should also try to finish off this body just so that you get credit for the kill, instead of just leaving him on the ground. Not credit for the kill, but just so that you can like loot for the
catch more people.
food as well.
During
I wonder if they have auto pickup on there a while. They're taking a while to pick up items. It's a good tip. There is a setting. I don't know if I can see it. I can. Okay. There is a setting if you come down to, I think it's game. Enable auto loot. Make sure you turn this setting on. It'll help you loot boxes faster. I recommend it for every player, but it's also very good for beginner players. Taking hunts is good again. You can also group up this dog and this bat to take them together, be a bit faster again. You get the credits for like looting them if they have transitions. I kind of like misspoke a little bit. Not the killing versus downing. Like I just mean like you want to finish off bodies so you can like loot them and take their food, take their credits. I believe you still get credits for the kill even if they get rezzed. Moonstone comes out here. Should be for Magic Bat. There's no short rods in this zone, so you probably will have to call one in unless you want to walk forest. And you guys got a battle zone win, which is nice. Don't forget to equip your item, of course. There's no good being in your inventory. There is a setting for auto equip, but that one I don't like as much. So just make sure you're swapping out your weapon. And you don't need to hold on to your Bakua Chang anymore once you have Magic Stick. Roaming Alpha after battle zone is also a good play. I like this, especially if you have an empty battle zone. It helps keep your momentum. If you're fighting in a battle zone for like ever and the alpha's still up, it means there's probably teams fighting at that alpha. But if you get out of one very quickly, you can look to do one. Especially if other battle zones aren't nearby. I think the other battle zones, yeah, one was in Chapel, one was Alley. Alley's kind of nearby, but Chapel, no one's getting there. So Sua's transition, typically second transition is a force core for holy orders. This is a little bit more of an advanced tip. I can't open up item menus, but when you have a Mai on your team, she can build you an item called Couture, I think it's called. And it's a very good chess piece. Only Mai can build it, so don't worry too much about it. I just thought I'd mention it if you want to look into it. Mai gets special chess piece items. Once again, be sure to finish off any players on the ground. There's only a few instances in the game where you wouldn't want to finish off a player that you down. I'm planning on doing a video on that at one point when probably at the start of season 2 on like when you should and shouldn't down players, just to see if it changes over preseason. So here at Meteorite, we're at day 3 objective, which is good. I'd like to see you guys walk over to Tree as well, because it's free. You guys would have saw on radar scan. Good job grouping up the chickens there. And this Meteorite plus that tree can easily go to your force core. I got another ad. I'm gonna have to find a lo-fi non-copyright playlist on Spotify. Team's fighting here. Make sure you are looking to fight right away with them. Yeah, so typically you could use that to make a 4-score transition. I'm glad you have your magic bat on now. And then that would be a little bit better of a transition than Nightmare Nails. This item's kind of fake. It's not a great item at the moment. I don't really see anyone building it, but I would definitely look to upgrade your chest if you can. Started less than 2 months ago. Welcome. Hope you're enjoying the game. Alright, so here's our first real team fight. This is a fight against team 1 here. Rio, Debbie, and Marlene, and Leon. Right now, we're all kind of split up. You know, you're in the middle, you got your Haze behind you, and you got your Mai in front of you. Mai's dove the Rio and pushed her out of the fight. She's doing her job here. Because of that, Mai needs to like look to taunt and head back towards you guys, because you guys are dealing with the Debbie and Marlene kind of doing the same thing. I don't think there's two things. I think it's just the Magnus on the ground. But right, like Rio is not a threat to you guys here. Like she's pushed all the way out. Leon's used his combo, so he's not gonna be much of a threat with no walls around. All he's either gonna have to do is like get a bad ult on Mai, or ult back towards you guys, which isn't ideal for him. Haze here gets a good W on the Debbie and Marlene for the stun. She just has to look to dodge ultimate now. What you can do here is start attacking the Debbie and Marlene with the Haze, look to burn them down. Basically, you just kind of want to create 2v1 moments for your team, right? Like when you're in have the option of like diving with your melee and hitting with your backline. What's the more probable play? Like you and Haze burning down this Debbie and Marlene who's in the middle of you guys versus you trying to cover the ground and dive with the Mai is a little bit difficult, even though Rio would be the priority target. There's a few things you can do here, right? Like you can QE combo, you can bat skill into the side of the wall here. Like you got options making this play. Your only options here, because you don't have blink, you have totem, is E, RE, and try and catch onto the Rio, which may work. It's just less probable. So we'll see what you do. Okay, you made the right play. You backed up, queued the Debbie and Marlene. So this is good selection. I know you're hitting the tank, which isn't ideal, but Rio is so far out of this fight, she cannot do anything. Like she's basically dead. When she's this, like even though she has full health, being this far away, she's basically dead in the fight. She's not going to be able to hit the Haze, not going to be able to hit you. Like she'll hit Mai maybe, and like that's what you want. You want her to basic attack Mai. So this is good positioning right here. Look out for the Debbie and Marlene ult, but I would like you guys to either try and burn down the Debbie and Marlene or switch to Leon. You definitely want to keep maybe your W for yourself if Debbie and Marlene doesn't ult right away, because Leon's going to probably look to try and ult you guys into the wall to your left. So we didn't bat skill into the wall. That's okay, because Debbie and Marlene didn't go for the ult. She backed up, which is kind of the right play for her as well. And now we're kind of in our like standard formation. We have, oh, let me get my pen out actually. 1 second. We're kind of in like this like standard formation of a team fight. This is kind of like textbook almost, where we have enemy backliner and then our two front lines. So you can call this like football formation even, and your two front lines and your backliner. It's basically just a DPS race between Haze and Rio. At this point in the game, they're gonna do about the same damage. You guys need to make sure you are coordinating hitting the same target, because you need to try and not split up all your damage, which is a little bit difficult when you're not playing with pre-mades, of course. But here we see Leon burn his shield. Leon kind of has no walls to ult to except for maybe this van. I would hold your W. You've already used it, but you need to have probably held your W here or react on totem to his ult. Same with Debbie and Marlene. She can only ult either to the backline or kind of like whiff her ult, so she's not in too big of a threat. If you guys keep kiting this out back towards your Haze, avoid getting hit by CC here, you should be okay. At this point, though, when we've already burned E, we do have our E up. We're probably not going to be able to dive the Rio, so we should play the fight front to back. When you play dive, you kind of need to look for flanks, and that just doesn't have the angle here, so it's not too big of a deal. So I would look to probably hit the Debbie and Marlene here with the Mai, and then try to look to avoid their ultimates as they come in, because they should come out right here. Okay, there's the Leon ult. We didn't have Totem or W, so we didn't react to it. It's gonna create like this weird split in this fight. This is where you like kind of need to recognize that we gotten hit by too much and the fight's not gonna go our way. We have Mai in their backline now and Leon in our backline, which isn't great for us because there's a big health advantage over the Mai with the Leon, and the fact that they're free hitting because they're not in CC, and two of us are about to be in CC. So this is kind of where you recognize that the fight's not going to go well, and you need to either leave out this way or look to try and disengage the Leon and get your Haze out as well. And you can do that a few ways here. Once Leon is finished his ultimate, you can bat skill him away, and then you and Haze need to run, and kind of just sacrifice your Mai at this point. It's unfortunate, but we didn't react to the incoming CC, because you also need to keep in mind that Debbie and Marlene have ultimate. So if they burn down this Mai and you guys are not all the way out here by the time they do that, Debbie and Marlene can look to ult over this corner and possibly close the gap on you guys. Mai makes a good play and backs up here. Once again, we're at a health discrepancy. This is what I would assume not winnable from this point, and if it is, it's going to be really close. But Mai goes down first, and we take a look at the health advantages. Leon and Debbie and Marlene have a big health advantage over you guys, so Haze should be starting to run away at this point too. Haze not having as good escapes as Sua is not going to be able to get out. Yeah, there's the demo ult. And yeah, Haze is kind of trapped here. So for that fight, this is a bit of a tricky fight because of the way that started. You know, we started out here. Rio ended up pushed all the way out to this corner, and then the fight ended up back where you guys started. So kind of a rough one to play. It's not straightforward at all. So I can't just be like, yeah, just hit the Rio. But the biggest thing from that fight is assessing when you guys lost that fight, because I think there was signs that you guys lost that fight pretty early into the fight, and you kind of need to just cut your losses with just losing Mai instead of getting wiped and trying to turn it. So hopefully that helps a little bit. In terms of prioritization though, yeah, typically squishies, backliners, damage dealers, whatever you want to call them, those are the ones you want to target first. And then anything that's going to be a threat to your comp, you want to target. Those are like your Chiaras, your Yawns, things that can like permanent CC you, even though they won't take damage that easily. And then your tanks are typically you target less, unless they're like right in front of you. So that was game one. Good opening game. I don't get to talk about teamfight dynamics too often, so we had a lot of solo replays in the past. And let me put the names into the spinning wheel for the next ones. Just give me one moment. Catch up and chat at the same time. Could be bad if demo ults because they were stacked. Yeah, you kind of have to remember who has what in a team fight and who's used what. It gets a little complicated, but it's definitely one of the harder fights to play. All right, who's up next? So next up we have Stroke. Let me get your replay up. You play 11. This is not a pre-made team. Gold/plat. They don't play tanks, but I was forced to fill a lot of the times. Any tips would be useful. I struggle with transitions the most because I know when to go for my own items. All right, cool. We can talk about that depending on what team comp you have. Let me grab the replay code. Tank itemization is a little interesting. It changes a little bit depending on your team comp and the type of character that you're playing as well. 11 is more or less straightforward. She's got a lot of natural bulk in her kit, so you don't need too many transitions. Typically, you just transition your chest and your head, and then any excess transitions will go to you after. So in this comp, you have Rozzy and Haze, two backliners, right? Two range characters. It means that you're going to be taking a lot of the damage for your team. Being up front melee, you're susceptible to getting poked. You need to kind of hold the front line. Need to kind of just absorb damage for your team, which is good that you have force field. I think it's better in this comp than something like emote. I think when you run double melee, you could have emote, but force field will help you with the bulk. 11 transitions. You know, first transition you see a lot is Blazing Dress, and Blazing Dress I think is a good transition for 11 if you have another melee or someone to soak up the damage. It's a little bit more of an offensive defensive transition than a defensive transition. When you're playing with two range characters, especially two squishy range characters, you're probably going to want to go Mithril Armor Guardian suit, particularly probably Guardian if you can. It'll help you absorb more damage, and you don't need that Blazing Dress damage burn to help tick enemies down. Your Rozzy and Haze will have more than enough damage to help win a fight. Positioning for a tank, you know, it's easy to just say stand in front of your backline, but like, what does that actually mean? Rozzy's gonna jump all around the fight, and Haze is gonna stay pretty stationary. You kind of just want to put yourself in between the danger and wherever they are at all times. Obviously, you can't account for if they miss position, but you also don't want to kill yourself trying to tank for them. You know, it's on them as well to have good positioning. If they're out of position, you can't frontline for that. Positioning is really important for tanking, especially if you get off-rolled. I like that you're on like one of the easier mechanical tanks. If we kind of like think about our comp as well. Also very fast getting your build, good job. If we think about like our comp as well, 11 doesn't need to be diving into their backline in this comp. You know, you jump into the enemy team. Haze picks up a kill, nice. You jump into the enemy team, what's your help, right? Like you get Haze rockets, maybe. You get Rozzy autos, maybe. Like overall, it's not that great of a play. You're gonna be playing more of a peeling style in this comp. Typically, you're gonna try and stop engages rather than start engages. And then just let Haze poke out. Eventually, a team's gonna get poked out so much that they're gonna be forced to engage. That's when you come in with your taunt. Kind of like how you're doing it right now. So pretty good taunt there. You want to be taunting over your backline too, just so that if they're getting dove, you take up any of the absorption from that. Rozzy doesn't have the poking tools that Haze does, unfortunately, so you will be susceptible to taking poke while Haze trades poke. You probably won't overwhelm any teams. I like that night one we're taking bears too. Would like to see you get that chest piece finished, but getting hunts is also good. Headpiece, typically a dwarf helmet or mithril armor, depends on kind of what resources you're getting at the time. Mithril armor will get, or Mithril head will give you a little bit more cooldown in HP, and then dwarf helmet will give you the reflect. If there's lots of spellcasters in the lobby, I would say go Mithril head. If there's a lot of basic attackers, I would go dwarf helmet. This lobby, you'll have William, you have Rozzy, you have Luke, Dema, Jackie, Lead Island to an extent, Isol, Marcus. Like, it's definitely probably a dwarf helmet game. Camelo as well. Lots of melee carries. I don't see one here from you, Wallen. What's more wanted for chest as 11? Is it sundress or a mithril chest? It depends on the comp. So if you have 2 ranged players with you, you're going to want like mithril chest or guardian suit. If you have a melee to help take some of the damage with you, you can go guardian, or you can go, sorry, blazing dress. Blazing dress isn't going to make you as tanky as guardian suit or mithril armor. So that's why it's a little bit dependent on comp. Grouped up for a tree. This is good. Tree going to Rozzy. Tree went to Rozzy. That's fine. Just gonna do a lot of the damage. Either her or Haze would have been fine, probably. I kind of like it on Rozzy here, actually. In terms of transitions, yeah, not bad either, because you split them up, which was good. But just be careful about eating into the middle of 3 people blind. Rozzy has a good dodge there on the Kathy. But if you are going to eat in, be careful about taunting right away, because once people react to your E, you're susceptible to getting your taunt canceled. In terms of transitions though, you're going to be looked at building up the Rozzy and the Haze. You kind of want to give them transitions evenly, because Haze needs to poke out fights before they start, and Rozzy needs to clean up fights as they finish, which unfortunately means you're not going to get a ton of the transitions. You do need some, because you're going to need to stay tanky for them. I would say probably guardian suit or mithril armor, and then your attack skill is probably the 2 main transitions that you want to make sure that you get. And then if you can, either dwarf helmet and then Hermes. I'm surprised this build goes sheath. I'm surprised it doesn't go Burnish Aegis. That was a really good taunt there. But your team was a little too far from it. You want to try and taunt so that they're in a position to hit the William in this comp. As you can see, like, William was able to sneak by you with his ult. Adela was able to get by you to the backline with her E. Now your team reacted really well to it and dodged it well, but that's just the kind of things that you want to look out for, is that you want to try and taunt to make sure you can hit them. Don't worry too much when you taunt about dragging them back towards your team with movement. That like 2 steps that they take in the taunt isn't really that worth it. It's a better play to taunt and then get your hammer skill down. Like, as soon as you taunt, you immediately want a hammer skill, because this is going to make it so that they take more damage from your whole team. It's not really like if you play League, it's not like a Rammus taunt. Like, you don't really taunt and then like pull them into your team. You kind of just keep them in place and defense shred them. Used a Korean name this time, so if it's there, it should be apparent. I don't see a Korean name on it. Calling it in a tree here for your teammate isn't that bad of a play. I don't hate it, especially because it's probably going to go to, yeah, it goes to Haze. 3-item Haze is typically kind of the most she's going to get here too. She just, once again, needs enough to poke people out, so she'll pick up Scotty. And then you guys definitely need to start transitioning the Rozzy. Force Core should go over to the Rozzy soon too. doing a little bit of standing around here, but it's okay. And also, you're going to be the one that wants to TP first. I know Haze kind of just went, but typically you need to be the one to TP in, because if you TP on a team, you have the best survivability with ult, E, and attack skill. But I like that you're here for mutants. Good macro so far. You guys are playing this as best as you can. No complaints about that. And because you gave away your first transition, I would look to call in Mithril here for Mithril chest. You're probably not going to get all the way up to Guardian suit, so you got teams around, so you can't do it right away. But once again, you need to be leading to establish vision first. Haze can check out bushes for you with ultimate. And you're grouped up for this purple box, which should be good. You might have to fight this team here. Adela has no transitions. Jackie has one. It's not the same team. And Camilo has one with just Guardian suit. So this is a very fightable team. You guys should definitely clean that up easily if they choose to fight you. But getting this purple box is a bigger priority than getting this tree, I agree. So good play there. And honestly, I would just start walking at this team. Like, you guys know you're strong. You guys won, not won the battle zone, but you guys got an alpha. You guys got the night there, day 2 objective. So should know that you're in a decently strong position. You have to kind of be careful because you don't have transitions, but having 3 transition Razi and 3 transition Haze is really strong. You can also just look for a call. So I would call Myth Cheston. Help make yourself more tanky. Sorry for the ad again. And it looks like you have the press for Myth Head. We talked about Myth Head over Dwarf already, so a little early on the taunt and a little bit of a dive. This is what you have to be careful of like kind of just taunting in and diving like that. That worked out well for you guys because I think it was more of a transition gap. But typically if you taunt in like that and then E in right that, like Adela's gonna see that and be like, you have nothing left, and just walk right past you. Same with Dema. Dema got taunted here at the start. All she had to do was back up and reset. Instead, she tried to force the dive, so a little bit of a misplay for her. That's why it worked for you. And Luke, not even in range of the taunt, kind of didn't get onto a priority target when he could have. I don't know if he had a camera. He did have cameras, could have just jumped past you and tried to get onto the Haze or the Razi. So when you're like that and they like know that you're there, like it's different because you came out of the bush, but hold your taunt for a little bit longer. Maybe you just Q check the Dema as she walks up instead of taunting. And same with hammer skill again. You want to be immediately hammer skilling after your taunt. But also, like, if you get a good taunt on the Adela, there's a good chance that her queen might run out by the time it takes her to get a taunt and reposition. She was only on 2 stack, I think, when you taunted the Dema, so she could have easily stacked up a queen and looked for a 1-shot on your back line. Now in gold plat, it's likely that players will misplay, which is why that kind of worked out with the Dema. But in higher elos, you know, taunt is like your biggest defensive tool in this comp. You have Haze W that kind of stop engages, and taunt, and that's really it. Razi doesn't have much ability other than dashing around and trying to get herself out. She doesn't really stop engages. So definitely want to be assessing what the enemy team's biggest engage tools are and trying to defend against those. for your team.
Break time is over. Time to get going.
Another purple box, which is good. Good macro again. I think unless it's a mithril, it probably goes. Oh, it is a mithril. So yeah, you ended up getting a mithril. I think you can go mithril head just because it was free. But typically you probably want to go dwarf helmet in this comp if you can. And this is kind of like your core for transitions. So your next transition should be your tack skill. You won't typically need anything more than this for this comp. You know, you want to work on getting Rozzy specifically to 6 transitions and then Haze her weapon after. But after that, tack skill is really the only thing you need. It's also not a bad play for you to try and save for rezzing. Typically around night 3 is when you want to start saving if you have to. If you think about like dive comps, like they're gonna dive the Haze, they're gonna dive the Rozzy. You're probably gonna be the one that's left alive, unless you're like in the middle of their team. So I think at this point though, because you're so far ahead and your Haze is so far ahead, you don't really have to save. I would just call in your tack skill now. You know, that's gonna be 6 transition Haze now, and 4, or I guess 5 transition Haze and 4 transition Rozzy. Okay, you did get your attack skill. Good. So everything's good so far. You said you needed help with transitions, but you're doing them all right. So with this radar scan here for day 4, you kind of want to look around, see where the enemy teams are, see what's available, see what's open. You know that there's these 2 teams on the other side of the map. Hotel hunts are probably up, so you can grab those if you need. It's all about kind of making preparations for the ending of the game. You can start to think with 2 teams left about how you're gonna approach these fights. Hey Snowy, how's it going? Against the 11 Rozzy, or you guys are the 11 Rozzy Haze team, against the 11 Adela William team, it's going to be really hard for Rozzy and Haze to try and hit this William. So you want to focus on making sure that Adela doesn't one-shot any of these. Once again, you want to be leading and not your Haze. That Adela isn't one-shotting you. 11's not really taunting you out of the way so that you can't peel. And then Haze needs to look to try and poke out this William and Adela with her rockets. Once William does commit to try and like jumping in the fight, that's when you kind of want to switch over from targeting to him. I would save taunt for William and then try and use your body presence to push away the Adela. The threat of taunt being up is just as much of a tool as the taunt itself. You can't bluff too many times, of course, because then she'll just read it and walk right past you. But if you walk up in Adela's face, she's going to react to you. And you can't walk up too far, obviously, because you're going to eat autos from William, which is kind of why Dwarf Helmet works better in this comp. But that's how you kind of play that fight. For the Jackie, Camilo, Adela team, Jackie and Camilo are going to look to dive. Their Camilo's building tanks, so you want to make sure that you try and taunt the Jackie as she jumps on your team. This Mithril, you could go boots or shield, either one. They're dying, so it's not going to matter, but basically same thing with Adela. Walk up, try and like make sure she can't queen one of your backlines. If you're like standing in line with your backline, she'll easily queen. So use your presence on her and then make sure the Jackie gets taunted. Wick here is a good play. You guys had vision of alley, so you know that there's no one around. I like that. Been trying to speedrun the Diamond or Titan if possible. So far, Jackie and Vanya are my picks right now. I recently also picked up Vanya. I've been playing a lot of her. KR players are crazy. Opera Mask should probably go over to Rozzy. think Opera Mask is better than... Well, I don't know. She loses crit. It's a tough call. I think she should personally wear Opera Mask, but... Well, maybe not, because she's likely going to get one shot by the Adela or the William. I guess you guys don't know what team is left, though. Well, you'll see on radar scan, actually, so... She should probably realize that. That she doesn't need the Omni Siphon. Yeah, I've been liking Vanya a lot, too. So we know the final team here is in Temple. You know how they have to walk into you. They either have to walk up or go to stream Hyperloop and try and TP in. So you kind of just hold the gate here. You can build cameras, you can build traps. I would do that now. You've got 250 credits, so you want to start preparing for that. Corridors are good for Haze, and they're good for Adela. Everyone else, I guess they're kind of good for 11s each. Basically, you need to start identifying their win condition. You know, Adela getting a pick is a win condition. William cleaning up a fight is a win condition. For you guys, you need Haze to start poking out before the fight, hopefully putting pressure on the Adela and the William. Once these guys are poked down from rockets and Q and maybe, no, probably not E's from Haze, you can look to then taunt. If William is low enough, you can play this fight front to back and just look to taunt the 11 or the Adela. Don't be burning too many big cooldowns though, just so that when they do start the fight, you guys don't have nothing left. But Razi's very good at burning through tanks. You should be able to kill the 11 quickly, even through ult and tac skill. But in no way should you like eat into their backline and try and taunt. I think that's the only way you don't. So good taunt on the 11 there, or on the Adela. And then front to back, which is good. This is where you want to try and get your taunt down again. Typically as Adela is coming out of ult. But you did your job, got the taunt down, made enough space with your body. Adela can't walk past you, and your Razi and Haze were able to rip through the enemy front line. I want to talk about what you did here. I know you wanted to finish off the 11 because it's day 5 and you don't want them to res at all. But look at the position that they're in, right? Like they're way back here. Like there's no chance they can run past you to try and res this 11. And William will out DPS the Razi, and Adela is always a threat with her damage. So doing that's a little bit troll. There's no chance that they get that res, so just keep staying in front, creating space and looking for taunts. You peeled off, which was good. I think you recognized that there was no way that they could res her, so it doesn't matter if she stays on the ground. But like, look at the formation we're in right now. Like, you were in the back line, so, but still really good. Really good play. Your transitions look good. Itemization looked good. Spacing looked good. So many 11s just jump into the back of the enemy backline and die, so you didn't look like you were off-rolled, to say the least. Hey Feline, how's it going? Fight selection is always important. That's never really changed. It's kind of just been eternal return. Oh, no problem. I'm glad they helped. All right. Up next we have Ego. Which one are you?
communicate?
Sorry for the ad. Yeah, you were close, Len. So we have next we have Ego. So I play Silvia, non-pre-made team, gold/bot. Decision making, I'm just following teammates and target selection during fight. Decision making is going to come down to macro. Depends on what's up, what time of day it is, what characters you have. But we'll definitely go through that. See if we can figure out where we start to like idle along. And then the theme of this whole session has been target selection, so hopefully you've gotten some tips from the other games as well. Silvia has interesting selection because you kind of have two playstyles. You can have like heal kit and Silvia, and then you have like dive Silvia. But typically choosing where to go is like based on the highest percentage play of what you think you can get at the time. Kind of based on like what's available on the map with how strong or how weak that you are. Is that Manta? I think I just saw... I think this is Manta, isn't it? Pretty sure this is Manta. So you have a Leanne and an Elena. I kind of like this comp. Leanne's your big damage dealer for this comp. AFK here. You want to try and make sure that you're lining up your Qs to hit the Leanne, keeping her healthy when she transforms. Elena will do some peeling. It's kind of a dive comp. You can look to dive with bike. Following up on Leanne Qs, Elena freezes, but for the most part, you're kind of the setup person for this. Your W in human form lets Elena gap close easier, lets Leanne gap close easier. Spare tire and Q are kind of just for fuel. Q, make sure you heal your team. So far we're okay though. Oh, this is Aimer, so yeah, I think this is on you. Oh, you got Aimer as your Leanne. Okay, so you're in good hands. Aimer's a really good player. This isn't Golden Plat? This is interesting. Pretty sure he's a Titan player, but could be wrong. So typical Nathapon griefing. I believe Silvia, you want to try and, like, if you don't dodge it in time, like get close to the edge and then like front flip, I think has a better chance of trying to get you out. I'm not sure if it's invulnerable. I don't think it is, so you probably still get pulled, but other than that, like the preventative for Nathapon is dodging the E. It's not really getting out of the E. That's okay though. Those things happen. It's not going to slow you down too much. No SP. I'm not sure if Silvia needs it. We are grouped up for bears, and it looks like you'll get your revenge on Nathapon, maybe. Aimer can transform in time. Yeah, he did. Want to be hitting the Nathapon with your team. Silvia's going to run out of fuel, and then you chase her down with bike. Not bad. I would hit the Nathapon a little bit quicker than what you did there, but it works out. I would also be using Q on your Leanne to try and heal them back up because they're trying to stay in transform mode so that they can take these bears quicker. I'm gonna assume that you know your Q is a heal. This is kind of a fight over nothing. I'll talk about like the huge knockup, the decision making. Definitely want to be hitting with your team. Don't worry about this Aya. She's not doing anything. Keep diving with your team. Good. Glad you left her. Do that a little bit quicker next time, but other than that, it's fine. Okay, so now that it's slowed down a little bit, let's talk about it. Night 1, typically want to look for bears if you can, or any hunts in general. Your Leanne had TP'd to beach to try and get beach bears, so that was the decision there. The macro explaining should be a lot easier for this game because Aimer is a really good player, and probably will make the right play most of the time. So look for a beach, or look for a bear zone. You got beach, you got warehouse, you got dock, uptown, temple, gas station, alley. Want to be in one of those grabbing bears. On night 1, day 2, want to look for an objective if you can. There's a lot of fighting going on, so you might not make it to an objective on time on this one. That's okay. If you don't make it to an objective on time, be taking some hunts. It looks like you will make it to this meteorite in time. That's where Aimer's running, so you guys need to kind of be up there with him. He's already in there. When you queue, definitely want to be looking to line up your queue with your teammate and the enemy. That's just a spacing thing so that they get the heal. Sorry for the ad again. Right now we're doing nothing while your team is fighting. You need to be getting over there. You're playing one of the best chasers in the game, so make sure you get there quicker. This on the front flip is okay. That's just a mechanical issue. I think queuing also heals yourself too, right? Oh, it just heals allies. Okay. But corridors like this are good because it's easy for you to heal. That was a really good queue there. Hit both your teammates and the Sua. So good job there. Did we get the meteorite? I don't think we got the meteorite, which is okay. We went to the objective. It's approaching night 2. Want to get yourself either to a battle zone or alpha. Leanne might go straight to alpha because they're a bit easier for her than battle zones, but can't see. She also likes the mithril better, I think. If you're early, you can look for hordes. There's going to be one here in factory, and then the other will be up here in archery. So you can look for those. Got a team here. Probably have the mastery. Yeah, at this point, when you have a level 12 mastery on day 2, you can pretty much look to take any fight. I would just play off Aimer if you can. Elena needs to back up here. It's good. He flashed over, so you gotta get going. Good kill there. As long as you get yourself out, which you should. Nice. Now head back towards your team. Get the res. Good. This fight you played really well. Elena will get herself out with skate. And then you two can run, and Elena can TP. Yeah, so we didn't get to battle zone, which is fine. Probably gonna look for an alpha, which is why we're TPing. Wolves are good here, but typically you want to stick with your team, especially when going for an objective. You know, you might have been able to contest this in time had you all gone immediately. So run back. Next objective is alpha. Another fight here. This is constant fighting. Good pick onto one of them. Should get a feeling that there's lots of teams in this zone, I think, from this alpha being up still. Plus, you guys got a kill down here when alpha's up back here. Tells me that a team got pushed out. Look for the third party here. Play slow. Look to keep Aimer transformed if you can. guys can fight front to back because you're so ahead. Good job. Good pick on the Lennox. Can look to pick off this Barbara too. You might have been able to chase her down with the bike, but it's fine. I'm also not sure if your Q keeps Leanna transformed by keeping her in combat, but if it does, you definitely want to keep using your Q on her. It also gives you fuel. Yeah, there you go. Good pick again on Nathan. Good bike. Oh, I wouldn't have gotten off bike there. I would have gotten more space and then gotten off bike once you ran out of fuel or you're about to get stunned. But good try. A little bit of mechanical there. Another team back-to-back fight. Leanne can take those. Again, try to get in front of them if you can so you can block the bike. Overall, not too big of a deal. You do have a purple chest here and you're alone, so you can make a call-in. This is good. Day 3 is a good time to make call-ins. I do have a video talking about like my transitions guide, and I think that video might help with like some of the macro stuff. It's night 1 bears, day 2 objective, night 2 battle zone or alpha, day 3 call-in, and then purple boxes, omega, etc, etc. But so far this is good. Even if you are just following around a teammate here, at least you're following around a teammate who's making the right play. If you like playing in this game, and then if you play again with like 2 other teammates who don't really know what they're doing, you should feel a difference in like how you're moving between this game and that other game. And you should be able to tell that like, oh look, this game, you know, we're 15 mastery, 12 mastery, 11 mastery, we're very ahead. In that other game, you'll probably be like 8 or 9 if you're not making all the right plays. And that's kind of just how you formulate what works, what doesn't, what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing, etc. Is this song kind of loud? This song feels kind of loud. Day 3 as well. You know, I talk about sometimes days typically are your wolf hunts, nights are your bear hunts. It's not great, thanks. That's why you're in factory getting wolves. Radar scan, you would see this team can look to fight it. Want to wait for Leanne to get her transformation if you can. She's getting poked out real hard. Has to burn ult immediately. But good target selection there. Left the Yon alone. Get your W down, that's going to help Elena chase. And then you have fuel back, so you should be able to run him down too. I was pretty telegraphed over the wall there. I think you can throw your W a bit farther out. I don't think you have to try and hit him there with it. Careful over chasing here. You should see the Aya, so you should know you shouldn't get yourself killed trying to get this Yon kill. This Yon's basically just an engage for this Aya, or for this Aya team. They didn't look to capitalize on it, which is fine. Probably because they weren't in position really for it, or they're weaker, but good kill and chase there. Heading into night 3 now. I want to look for Omega if you guys are strong. You guys weren't going to get to it in time because of the chasing and fighting in dock, so you're going to look for bears and a purple box. Bears already taken, unfortunately, but there is a purple box down here that you guys can grab. And then potentially look to make another call in chapel once you grab it. Pick up some more hunts as well. There's a bat down here that you could also grab. Just throw a tire at it, and then you can take all 3 at the same time. Look to get lights in chapel and then make a call in, I would imagine. One of you should probably grab console if you guys don't already have it. You guys might have it actually. No, you guys don't have it, so I would look to get console vision here, and you potentially could have gotten a pick on this Felix. No, went alone to go get console. Day 4 approaching. Kind of like an odd day. Still 5 teams alive, so it's gonna be like once Wick gets shown where she's gonna be, you kind of want to like establish position in that zone, kind of just like get vision control, position control. You would see these 2 teams fighting on radar, so you might look to TP in. You might see it. Yeah, there's the hospital TP. Thought that might happen. There's also a meteorite here that you guys can contest. This is why you typically don't want to be fighting around radar scan, because the team will see. And then third party. Once again, make sure you're coming straight to your team. It's not really a position to get vision there, but they'll be okay. And then look to chase people down. Good. Tia's gonna make a res here. And grab this meteorite, and then it'll be Wick spawning in red, so you can look to stay here for this gold box. You have some time before Wick spawns to potentially move. You don't have to be there right away. There's a rat eye here. Oh, a huge double stun from Aimer. Basically kind of 1v2'd that. But when your Leon's this strong at this point in the game, you kind of just look to play off of her. Oh, he's got the goated emote. Yeah, so pick up meteorite, pick up gold box. And you know, you guys can do stuff on your own too. Like, you don't need Aimer to pick up all this stuff off the ground too. You guys can grab this stuff, especially once you wipe a team. Boots of Hermes coming out, probably going to Elena. And because you have vision of this zone, you know that you're the only ones here. You can look to start this wake up immediately. The only way a team would be coming is probably from factory, but it's not very likely that they'll get there in time. Especially when you guys had vision. You guys should have reset the console before you did this, but it should be fine. They're kind of walking into you for some reason after you guys just had taken Wick, so this should be an easy wipe. This fight you're playing good. Good for you to keep yourself safe. Occupy the Lennox. Target selection in that fight's a little bit different because realistically, like you would want to attack the Barbara or the Felix in the back, but because you got pushed out by the Lennox really early into the fight, you did the right thing there. You kind of just bought your time. You didn't like worry about trying to all in her. You didn't really worry about trying to floor it to the back line, especially when your Leon's so strong. You know that she's gonna be able to take care of the Barbara and the Felix anyways. So good job there, waiting for your moment. Once Lennox's CC ran out, you looked to dive past her, which was good. So good plays there. And then with 2 teams left, you can kind of get a feel about how this final fight's going to go. You know, you're playing off Leanne at this point with double blood. So you basically want to make sure that she stays safe. She can use her ult to dodge the Tia ult. Other than that, I mean, there's not much CC for this team. Blue-yellow combo is a little bit annoying for Leanne, but you're basically looking to keep her Qs, keeping her healthy onto her, trying to hit another target if you can too. And then using your bite combo to disrupt the Yuki, that's probably going to try and dive onto her. Your Elena probably can play peel for Leon too. Realistically, though, like, even though Yuki and Ekion want to dive your team, I feel like your Leon just dives the Tia. You know? Like, you guys either 3-man commit dive to the Tia and then win the fight very easily, or you just play back and then these two won't have enough damage to try and kill you guys. It kind of depends on what there's an opening for. You know this team is here because you saw them on console. This is going to be a terrible face check. That's, yeah, questionable. Okay, with your land gone, you need to leave immediately. Or play it slow. Try and keep them alive for the res. You're not going to get that in time, so just keep playing it slow. That's kind of unfortunate. You know, Aimer kind of played this game really well, but one face check is enough to... Oh, here, if you guys pick the Tia here, this is a good play. Elena probably should have committed with you. I'm not sure why she backed off. Yeah. Okay. Interestingly enough, you guys all fell apart at the final fight. That's not really on you. We'll go back here for a second. So, you guys would have saw them call on console. Know this team is here. You know this team has to leave this zone too, right? Like, they can't stay in the zone. So they're probably either A, in a bush, or B, grouped up, like, regardless. And this is kind of just a wild face check. I don't know why you would ever face check this, especially when you came in past console. So that's a little unfortunate, but that's your, like, big carry down. So the fight here is very, like, unwinnable, but you guys do a good play of kiting out the Ekion bout and then turning on to the Yuki. Tia runs way too far up here, so she has to make a defensive play to try and get out because she gets frozen. Yeah, drones are super important too. That also avoids that. Like, Ekion runs down here and Yuki runs up, right? Like, this is the moment where you guys win this fight again, right? Like, this is... They've messed up so bad that this has become winnable for you guys again. And you guys chose to dive the Tia, which is a good play. I agree. I'm not sure why the Elena wants to back off. Maybe she doesn't. She's got timer. Like, I think you guys just dive the Tia here and then either force them. No, I think you just dive the Tia. I don't think there's any other play than dive Tia here, personally. I don't know what other play there is. Like, I don't know why we're conserving timer, unfortunately, but yeah, diving Tia with you was definitely the play here. That yellow was a little telegraphed. You might have been able to sidestep it and keep yourself alive, but that's more so you making the outplay than them relying on your team to not make a misplay. So that's a little tough. Tia does get away now. Like, look how much health she's on. Like, if Elena had stayed there that whole time, she dies, like, out here. You guys don't go down here, right? Finish her off, and then you can look to fight this 2v2. And Elena Silvia against Yuki Ekion, like, this Ekion has one transition, you know? Yuki's holding all the transitions. You guys kill the Yuki, you guys have that one, and Yuki's very single target damage, and neither of you guys are auto attackers, so you get a freeze. Maybe he parries it. I don't know. It's just more doable than whatever this was, I think. So a little unfortunate. We'll watch it out. Okay, yeah, that's about as expected. So a little unfortunate. Both of your teammates kind of trolled that. Not really much you can do about that. But if you want to try and take something out of that, that's like for your own gameplay rather than just blaming your team, you know, the yellow was sidesteppable by the Tia. A little unfortunate. Those games hurt, dude. Games like those feel so bad, where you guys are like dominating the whole game, and then it's just like the final fight, one play, and it all goes south. So that's like the difference right there between like gaining like 25 RP and then gaining like 60 RP. Like that feels so bad. We're about halfway through the stream, so I'm gonna take a quick break to use the bathroom. Thank you guys for hanging out with me for the VOD stream. We've had some good games. But I will be right back. All right, we're back. Hello, my wheel froze. Oh, there we go. Okay. Next up, we have Joshua. Let me get your form open. I can't find it. Where'd it go? Hello? Where'd my form go? There it is. Jesus, that was weird. Literally couldn't find it. My tab's like glitched. We have Joshua. They're playing Leon with a pre-made team. Aspect can I focus on to help you get better? Nothing but OMFG. I go demon mode. Elena Leon combo GG. You know why? Okay. Well, I prefer if you submitted a code that we can help you with, but I will look at all games. This will just be me trying to like pick stuff out for you to try and help. Then if there's nothing that you feel that is you need to work on. No worries, Len. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
Let's get started. Time to riot. You're so crass.
So we have Leon with Elena and Haze. Pretty strong team. Kind of a front to back comp. Leon kind of peeling for Haze. Elena looking for freezes. Leon doing a bit of secondary damaging, secondary tanking too. I kind of like him in this comp. You know this guy? It's not very surprising considering the region's pretty small. Or do you mean like you know him? Oh, you just play against him a lot? Interesting. You can get some of his strats now. So he said he was playing with a pre-made team, so I am assuming you guys will be communicating outside of pings, probably through Discord. We're on Glove Leon. I haven't seen a Glove Leon in a while. I've seen mostly Tonfa. Glove Leon being a bit more of a damagey Leon than Tonfa. I think that makes sense in this comp. Leon gonna be assisting with the damage a bit more than tanking, so I think it works. Also has another front line to work with him. Grouped up really early. Like to see it. Get my mouse off the screen. Got food. To my knowledge, Leon's pretty SP hungry, so I would assume we need SP, but maybe Glove's not as bad as Tonfa. What's the play for night one here? Grouping up for bears? Not quite bears, but we are grouped up. I would encourage you to, unless Haze needs help with her build. Yeah, she's a little bit behind, so the other play you can make is if you're not grouping up for bears, group up with your weakest teammate, try and get them through night one if they don't have their build. It's a little bit of sacrificial for the team, but hopefully you get online a little bit faster than if she was surviving on her own. Of course, you can try to gamble it as well and leave them to finish their build by themselves. However, she's kind of your main damage dealer in this comp, so you kind of want to make sure she gets her build online. So I like this play. There's not going to be any hunts in archery. It's kind of a day zone. So a little bit of a waste of time being here, but Haze probably needs it. You will find a kill, it looks like. Like that we didn't burn too many cooldowns on just the stray Luke. That's good. And it's just Luke. He's full build, but this is kind of why you group up with your team who's behind. Like if the Haze had gone by themselves here, that Luke probably just kills the Haze. So try to work with your weakest teammate if you can. Help them get their build online. Pings here in gas station. There's stray Aya. I was gonna say, do you not see the Aya? Or good pick here. You should be able to get her. Yeah, good shot. It is.
Should we take bets that you can
You guys can TP to an objective, I think, or you can just run to alley for meteorite. Either one works. You guys can pick a Luke. Oh, he ulted backwards. That's unfortunate for him. Might be able to run that Haze down. You gap close onto her. It's a bit of a risky play though. Yeah. Definitely a smart play to chill out until radar scan. You can see these teams fighting, so you can look to third party onto them. Not even teams fighting, just an Isaac. This can be good here if you guys can get this pick before the rest of the team. And then you can look to try and dive them now. I think you guys could have kept going because they had the meteorite, hadn't crafted yet, so you can also look to force them into the other team that you know is there. A little bit of obstinance permanence, forgetting that that team was there from radar scan, but that's fine. Good pick on the Sua. Good help on the Haze when she's getting dove. Nice job. I like that you left the Sua to go peel for your Haze. Good play there. And now you can dive their Haze. And they should be able to deal with the Sua. Nice. Good play. Good team fight there. Really good positioning. Leon Elena does go turbo. Your Haze is doing good at staying at a safe distance too, and not just like following up to her melees. So that's good. You guys can look to make an early call. You are a pre-made 3, so you don't have to kind of call individually. You can funnel your credits. I would look to get probably a Mithril onto you. Is it Dress? Either Dress or Glacials or Permafrost, whatever Leon builds. Elena's probably good for now. And then you can look to start transitioning the Haze as well. Run back against this team. I would imagine if you beat them once, you beat them again. They'll kind of into it a little bit. So feel free to take this fight, or you could just take them in the battle zone. These wolves might have respawned. I would have thrown a Q to check. Oh, good third party. A little wild on the duck dive is okay. Their Haze is caught out, so now you have a 3v2 fight, so good play here. Careful of the Magnus spinning on all 3 of you guys though. He does do a lot of damage. Good job separating. I don't know if that's a 4 score from the battle zone. That might just be a Mithril. Yeah. Mithril, good. Go on to you. Probably for... Is it Legs of Steel? Yeah, Legs of Steel. They'll have heal cut now, which helps. Is there a passive on this glove? As Hex. Okay. I think Elena... Yeah, she's got Blazing Dress now too, which is good. Should hopefully get some transitions onto your Haze, just so that her rockets are giving you good damage.
Prime Big Deal Days are coming October 10th.
Don't care about Prime Day. Ad. Thank you. Yeah, heading back up to archery here is a good play. Wolves will be coming up. You can look to farm them in the daytime. And also make a call in. Team here. Big ult by Elena. Kind of just raw ulted too. Once again, good peel for your Haze. But Jackie did the same thing Luke did. Kind of ran past you guys to try and dive, and you made a good play there. Careful of running around with the 1X ult though. Once you guys get that Jackie kill, you can play considerably slower. Haze has been annoying me to hear, not the player. She's a tough character to deal with if she keeps her range. A lot of Hazes will walk up to try and get the EQ or the WEQ, and it's just not the best play. Personally, as a non-biased Haze main, she needs more damage and some CC would be nice. Giving CC to damage dealers has always been rough. She used to have more CC, but they got rid of it. Make her E invincible? I don't know about that. She's supposed to be risky to play, right? Like, she's not supposed to be safe. She's a backline mage. Corridor is a good fight for Tazia. Careful fighting here. Isaac's diving. Good peel back. Get out of that corridor too. Now you can look to dive. I think you had that. A little bit of a messy fight. Your Haze's positioning is really good because you kind of ulted everyone towards your Haze, so. Isaac split. You can look to pick him off here. Should be able to finish that kill. All kind of split up. Good decision to abandon the Tazia there. Let Elena try and finish it. Didn't get the help on Haze, unfortunately. Oh no. We're kind of spamming skills now. Do pick up the dial in, but good decision making, just not the best execution. Elena didn't end up getting her, which is a little unfortunate, but you also need to go finish off this Isaac, which you guys might have forgot about. I think you're looking for him now. I don't think you'll find him, but Ozzy still wants this. She definitely does not need to be here. She's kind of going for the hero play. Okay. A little troll by Tazia. I don't think she wanted to play anymore. She probably didn't have credits to revive. One circle probably makes that play. Any other Tazia, probably not. That's one character you need to learn is Tazia. She's very hard. I think she's personally one of the harder characters in the game. If not the hardest character in the game. She's very unforgiving. And you can totally just like not do any damage in a fight. I kind of judge characters on difficulty based on like how much you can fuck up and still be effective in a fight. If you fuck up on Tazia, you're literally providing nothing to a fight. Here for Omega. Haze walking up to that bush is insane. Realistically, though, you should have thrown a Q to check it for her, but... Is this purple box up? You guys can retreat back to this purple box. You know there's two teams fighting here. Oh, you guys should have console vision. You should know this fight's happening. We're missing out on a third party. A little bit of a misplay there. This could have easily been two teams wiped. You'll see it now with everyone dead on the ground, I would assume. Yeah. So a little late there. Good ult there. Helps gap close. Okay. You did end up wiping one team and pushing the other one out, but definitely want to be there a little bit earlier. Holy Water should probably go over to Elena. She's gonna be taking most of the damage. Yeah. One moss bear up, you guys can grab. Also make a call in if you need. Then heading into day 4, there's only 3 teams left, so you don't have to be too cautious about your movements.
Now would be a good time to watch where you're going.
And you can see that they're fighting here. Actually, I think if you see these 2 teams fighting and they're the last 2 teams, you kind of just floor it out this way into red, like maybe out to this way through red, and then try and third party that. So I think you guys are close enough to try and get a third party off. And realistically, you are stronger to where you could, maybe you don't then. I think you guys are strong enough to where you could win a straight up fight. But I think either play works. It's once again why we don't take fights on radar scan. They would have ran straight into you too. No, I think you definitely ran over there because you, like this fight's just so free. You guys would have been like right here. Easy third party. That's kind of just game knowledge though. Learn that more as you play. I think too, when you also know that you're this strong, you don't really want to coin flip Wick. You can take it if it's safe, but like Wick is a game lose now instead of a game win because you're basically fully transitioned. If you need it to win, you would obviously go for it, but you guys don't.
Time is over. Time to get going.
Also, one of you should have gotten console vision, and you could have put in a camera in this bush because you know that the team's up there. They're just gonna let you have Wick though for free, which is crazy, but. This game should be pretty winnable now. Like, or pretty unlosable rather. Can't really, unless you're like even if your Haze gets caught, as long as you guys kill Aya, I think you basically win the fight easily. You guys should know that they're up there too, because you would have seen the console pings. Like, now we're just kind of wasting Wick buff. If like you do get this Wick, like you just walk at them. Like, we're delaying the inevitable a little bit. We're gonna let our Wick time out a bit more. You should still fight them while you have Wick, but it's just like, this is just like nothing plays. You guys could have held this bush. Could have held this bush with the bear up baiting them. Like, they checked that bush as they walked into it. And now they're gonna know that you're all the way down here because they see console, so they know that they're safe in here. They shouldn't walk in here knowing that you guys just hit console. They should just wait for date radar scan 10 seconds, but it looks like they're gonna walk into it anyway. It's just like, it's just so much macro plays, dude. Like that team did not have to check this at all. They're also holding their own in this fight too, right? Like, imagine if they didn't check this fight. They didn't face check this. Like, you guys didn't have great ults. It was onto the Humwoo and the 11. Like, I was free hitting for a while. If they were any stronger or actually didn't face check that, I don't think you guys win that fight. But good game. Elena Leon does go turbo. It's a little bit of macro stuff like that from the enemies though that makes all the difference. That was less than making great plays and more than enemies making bad decisions. I mean, they still made a good play, right? Like, don't get me wrong. Like, they had 2-man ults and they're strong enough to where they can fight front to back like that. It's just like, if the enemy doesn't misplay, like their good plays don't happen, right? Like both sides could have played that better, and when both sides misplay, the stronger team usually wins. Next up, we have Spindart. Let me get your replay code up. Playing Pistol Amp Isol. That's a choice. Hope you have a comp for that. Pre-made team, no. Gold plat. Macro team fighting. Loot speed is generally slow as I play on 200 ping. Okay. Yeah, I mean, playing on 200 ping is rough. Is that your closest server then? I would imagine. This looks like it's on KR. That's you? You're up. So we got Pistol Amp Isol. We won't talk about the looting speed then if you're on 200 ping. So don't worry too much about that. You found 3 glue, wow. We'll focus more on like looting direction and style rather than speed. So far you're doing good. Very quick for chickens. Doesn't waste too much time. And gets you your leather. Crafting while movement spells on cooldown. Good. 200 thing is the best that you got. That's so unfortunate. Starting to stack traps there. I've seen these. I've seen this Isol strategy of double guillotines for first objective. Good poke out there. Gain some mastery. Just gonna do the same. Good farming there. Glad that we grouped up the animals. Really good. So far, really good. Like everything that I'm seeing. What is happening over here? There's like 4 fights over there. Oh, double pizza. You know it's gonna be a good game with double pizza. Hey, Levi, next review, if I ever send it, can you roast me hard? Put it in the, like, the bottom area where it's like, what aspect can I help you with? Just put a note. Sure. Masochist. I like that we're grouped up. Good kill on the Magnus. I would be hesitant about using skills on down bodies, but it's fine, especially when there's other people around. Just be careful with that because you might need that Q for something else. It's a relatively short cooldown though, so not too big of a deal. Just make sure everything's all clear. I would also have checked this bush too. We either Q check it or W check it, just because you know that there's people fighting in this area. It's not that big of a deal early game. Kind of like that Haze just did. Macro team fight we can talk about. This one's not going to be too challenging because you have a frontline and a secondary damage dealer. Or rather, you're kind of the secondary damage dealer. In a team fight, because your comp is Ava, you and Lennox, you're gonna either look for two things in the fight. It's either you're gonna land a Q, or Lennox is gonna land a whip, and then Ava is gonna look to poke, and you can poke with W. Those are kind of the two biggest things. I know you guys have a ton of AoE damage with Ava Q, Ava Laser, your W, but you really want to focus on narrowing down one single target with this, because you have a lot of upfront damage between Isol QW, Ava QR, and Lennox peeling. So look to burn one target down as you can. Make sure you guys are all hitting the same target. You're kind of low, so you're backing off here, which is fine, especially what your team did. Or one of your team did, I should say. Looking to get some damage down. Kind of playing safe. Look for a res even. They're all so low, too. Just be careful at how much you go forward. Good pick by Lennox. Because once your W is down in these early levels, if you don't hit that Q right away, or you have trouble popping your Q quickly because your W is down, you become a little bit susceptible. If you can switch the order, like you want to try and Q and then W for like leading with your spells, but if you lead with W to poke, just take a more defensive stance. So really good play there. Bait out the Helmwu dive, and then you and Ava both burned him down. It's definitely the right play there. Don't copyright me for that 4-second of music ad, I swear to God. I'll be upset. I got a random dancing ad on my lo-fi and it had some song in the background. I didn't recognize it, but that like gets this video demonetized, I swear to God. Didn't make it to a night 1 objective or day 2 objective because of all the fighting. 200 ping Q. Don't worry about that. Still ran her down, which is good. But we are in a day zone to get wolves, which is pretty good as well. It's kind of the compensation. And you found a tree on the wolf, so that works out well. Gonna get your sultans, that helps with the cooldown. And you're heading up to archery, it looks like. Archery is good. There's gonna be a mutant horde here. Also kind of the play if you don't get a day 2 objective to take a horde. You guys should be able to kill Silvia here. She's gonna run out of fuel in a sec. Lennox spaced out her skills really well there to kill Silvia's bike momentum, so really good play by her. I know it's gonna be hard to like micro space on 200 ping, but because you're playing pistol ISO, you can keep your distance a little bit more than AR. You don't have to be diving in to get your autos down. You can just be Wing from far. So try to keep a little bit more of a gap between whoever you're fighting and yourself. Playing pistol ISO too, you will eventually fall off in damage. Like, ooh. Okay, good that you didn't die there. But like I said, you will eventually fall off in damage, so you do want to kind of stay ahead of the curve of the game. Kind of with your transitions and by getting farm if you can. Good Q onto the Elena there. I like that you're moving on too, knowing that your team has enough damage to finish off, looking for more, which is good. But you kind of want, I think you kind of want to try and stack transitions as quickly as possible for pistol ISO, just so that you stay ahead of the curve. I would like to see you make a call in, which I think is what you're looking for after these wolves. Yeah, I like a day 2 call in here. This is a good play. Now you guys can either run down to probably to Alpha, because I don't think you'll make it in time for Battle Zone. Looks like they're gonna try. Yeah. It's probably the safer play. You got Myth Dress, which is nice. I would like to see Ava get some transitions too, as well as Lennox. If Ava's not going to go Dress, which I don't think she will, Mithril should probably go to Lennox. Or to you for... Well, I think Monarch overcaps you, right? Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But yeah. Is she going Dress? Oh, she went Dress. Okay, so I think that's definitely the right play. Because you didn't go to a battle zone and you got Alpha really quickly, I would have liked to see you try and get a horde. You know, Temple Horde would have been up, Beach Horde would have been up. We can look to TP to one of those because there's teams likely in the battle zone, but that's okay. You'll have your respawning wolves, which you do have the cooldown for, which is good. And you can look to try and get a bear in a different zone, potentially down here. Picked up another tree, which is crazy. Looks like it's going to be Scotty or Glacial Sheaves. Scotty, okay. Scotty's going to help, I think, at this comp because it'll help you guys land skills easier. You know, you're applying a slow to multiple targets. I think your job kind of as Pistol Isol here is to spread your slow onto everyone. And at least in the later game, it's going to be spread your slow. And if you go, I'm assuming this is going to be for Legs of Steel, apply Armor Pen to all of them. Not Armor Pen, sorry. Heal Reduction to all of them. And then that's kind of your job for this team fight, right? You're going to have to play fights very slow because at some point your damage will fall off, especially fighting some of these bulkier teams. Is this Altair? Or is this... Oh, this is Legs of Steel. You guys need to leave immediately. Good pistol skill. Get yourself into a safe position. Lennox is bulky so she can tank the front lines. And then you guys follow up with damage. Beautifully executed fight. Really good there. You're going to chase down the Elena. You should grab her. Yeah, good job. Really good play there. Really good play here to think defensively first. Get yourself out, dodge the Elena ult, and then look to get back into the fight. That's super hard to make that decision, let alone make that decision on 200 ping. So, smart play there. Did they fix the playbacks? They did. Replays are working now. We still have the glitch where it's like doesn't show day 2 to day 3 unless you like play with the timeline a lot, but that's fine. At least they're working. Meteorite probably goes to either Ava or to Lennox for a whip. Hey, I may have getting roasted on a video helps me improve on my mistakes, and I see this as a win. It's you can get like feedback without getting roasted. And it's content for the stream. It would be content. It's mostly educational content though, so I don't worry about trying to put bits into my educational content. I save those for the Twitch streams. I got a really fun Twitch stream coming up soon. I'm not sure what day it'll be. You guys know Mars? I'll be doing a stream at Mars soon. Should be a fun one. Macro's good this game. We're returning for our respawning wolves, but I had the timer of those. These ones we don't, but I'm glad we are back up here to get our hunts. Still have this meteorite in our inventory. Purple box is going to be coming up here too, which is always good to grab. We sort of just flopped late game. It happens. Like, this comp eventually will like run out of damage against some of these beefier teams. Like, you kind of have to play it very slow. Team fighting down here, you'll be able to see them once you guys get radar. Or not satellite radar, the console. Ah, there, he got wiped. No third party for you, but that's okay. You guys, how's your mastery looking in comparison? 15 day 3 is really good. This team is very strong too. Be careful with them. Be careful about eating forward. Good discipline not to, especially in a tight corridor with a Magnus. I wouldn't be leading though. I'd be letting Lennox lead if you can. Oh, hi Mars. It's literally just talking about you. You guys are running them down. Magnus has no bike down. Yeah, that's kind of why you don't want to get too close. Fish can peel back and get the Magnus. You guys kind of have to fight front to back. You don't really have a choice. It's really hard to dive. Chloe's also a little rough to deal with if she can stay out of Ava's range. Hope good things. Yeah, of course. I was talking about our we might be having a fun collab soon. I didn't leak it, but we got some exciting plans. Grouping up the animals is good. I think you guys might have been able to press this team a little bit more, but that should be fun. Yeah, for sure.
Hi, my name is Melanie Cote.
I got our ad.
I'm the founder of...
Ooh, Jackie with a good flank. Kind of pushes you guys out of the fight. I think you guys just let Lennox go down here and just kind of back away. They shouldn't chase into you. They know that chasing into Isol and Ava's hard. Good that you stayed alive though. It's the right play. You guys do have enough credits to res. You should be able to get to this hotel res in time to get Lennox back up. Careful of your ambushes, of course. Jackie gonna do a ton of damage to you guys because the only CC that you have is Lennox. Only instant CC, so she is gonna get some damage down before she gets a chance to peel. This is about the part of the game where your damage is going to start to fall off a little bit. You're going to be more into the utility role. Ava's damage is going to have to pick up a bit more. It's like very important that you guys are all hitting the same target. If you guys split your damage, you're just not going to have enough for fights. I think like you guys' wick take isn't that great either. Like Ava's is pretty good, but I think between Lennox and Isol, specifically pistol, it's probably not great. I would imagine you like hover around it though. I think that's probably a decent play. You guys can show up late to it and then look to like harass teams that are on it or look to third party. Especially with two teams fighting there. Hopefully you don't TP to it, you just start walking down. Grab these wolves and then take off. Good, I'm glad that you're walking. I was hesitant for a moment because I thought you guys were going to TP, but... Walking is definitely the correct play here with 5 teams alive still. Good Q check. Good Q check again. Careful of Wick. Oh, your Lennox aggroed it. It's time to run. This is perfect. This is all you need to be doing is just harassing teams that are around it. Careful of ulting around Wick again. You guys have a lot of like unintentional damage, so you gotta play safe when you're around Wick. You just keep kind of harassing. You don't want to get sucked into a fight. You should know at this point that there's 2 teams, and you should know that you're not in the middle of these 2 teams currently because you're so high up in the zone. So you want to try and wait for them to fight. And it looks like they just started engaging. You guys can look to either do Wick while they're fighting, but I feel like because you're not a great Wick team, or maybe you need Wick, but this is probably actually the better play. You guys saw this ping come in for Magnus, so be careful. Yeah, this is a smart play. Grabbing console vision first, like that. Careful walking up to Magnus Ava. You also want to try and be careful with your poke too. Okay, Lennox 100% should have blocked that for you. It's crazy that she didn't. harassing the Magnus with W isn't gonna do much in terms of that fight. So you definitely want to be making sure that you're using your W on the Jackie or the Chloe if you can, specifically the Chloe. A little fortunate that Lennox let that Magnus bite go into your backline. She definitely should have ate that for you. It looked like she was gonna, and then she kind of just moved out of the way at the last minute. At this point, you're kind of just left a rat on your own. I don't know if you can even get away from Elena. Range DPS to be tough if your tank doesn't play around the team. Lennox specifically, though, is really good at playing around team. Oh, getting a res here would be huge. Huge. Oh, exit up to archery because she needs time to heal. You can kind of hold this corridor too a little bit, I think, with ults and maybe slowing them down with QW. You just have to be careful that Magnus doesn't bike onto you guys again. Yeah. A little too much room, but that's the 200 ping, like switching directions. So a little unfortunate though. Your macro and team fighting looked good for the way that you were playing Isol. Target selection with harassment, just make sure that you like take into account for that whenever your spells like are just used, like that's an opportunity for enemy teams to engage like that Magnus did. Saw that your W was down. That means his Jackie and his Chloe aren't going to get harassed, so he can look to bike in. So target selection, even with like widespread AoE abilities, is still a thing. But in terms of like macro moving around the game, you guys were moving around good. You had good call-in points too, like that you're keeping your mastery up, especially in a comp where eventually, like as you saw, you're gonna be a little tough on damage. So you played it pretty well. Second place is definitely not a bad game there, especially with how that fight went. With the Magnus getting right onto you. Okay, I originally thought I wasn't going to be able to get through everybody, but I think I might be able to get through everybody. See who's next. Raycode is next. Let me get your replay open. So you're playing Haze, you're not with a pre-made team. You would like help with mechanics, maybe general advice. I feel like my mechanical skill is very lacking. I just want to hear some thoughts from other people. Also, since I'm playing an Asia server, there's language barrier, just FYI. Also, normally I think I played pretty well in this one, so not to get roasted by other players. Don't worry, we're all about learning here. If anyone's like talking shit in chat, they'll get banned. Grab your code. So you're playing Haze, and it looks like there's communication barrier with your teammates. Gotcha. Which Haze are you? This one?
It's all about skill. You sound like a teacher.
Like cold things. More water.
Mechanics aren't one thing that we've talked too much about this stream. So Haze mechanics, yeah, a few combos. WEQ is one of them. You know, leading off fights, you want to start with rockets if you can. Your ult, try and poke out a target to either make a 3v2 advantage or to try and offset the health difference in a fight. So definitely want to do those at the start of the fight. In terms of team fighting, you kind of want to avoid getting dope if you can. You don't have great tools, so Also, yeah, careful of being cannibalized by people on the same route who are more ahead of your build. It's just 2-zone dial-in. It looks like it's 2-zone dial-in. Yeah, I mean, like this... It's kind of unfortunate that that Haze tried to fight you so hard. You guys might pick up 2 kills here. Cool. Yeah, you do. At this point, though, I would just leave. I don't think it's worth trying to fight this dial-in. You successfully defended yourself, so just leaving would be good. Yeah, good job to run to the speed gates. She might chase you. I doubt it. Yeah, it's not worth it for her. So good play there. I would start healing too as you're crafting. Because if okay, good. Because if you do die, it'll be a little bit of a waste of time. Sorry, my cat walked across my keyboard. What was I saying before this fight though? Positioning in a fight, yeah, you kind of have to stop yourself from getting dove because you don't have great tools. Lead Island can't really peel for you. She can ult, but it's probably not great to ult to target that's diving you. She probably needs to use it to like gap close. Especially if it's like a tank. Marcus, not great peel. He's probably gonna be your engager. His ult's gonna come down across enemy team. He can use his dash to kind of like body block for you, which would be good, but that's not the best tool and it's all you have kind of. So positioning is going to be really big for you in this game. Especially there's a lot of divers in this lobby. Shoichi's not really someone you can do much about. Leon, you're going to have to try and avoid. Laura, you can try and avoid. Chiara, if she rapier skills onto you, it'll be a little tough. Luke is a little hard. Another Shoichi is a little tough. Another Luke is a little tough. Lead Island's tough. So it's going to be a little tough for you to survive in these fights, but you're going to have to try your best. That's why you need to get as much damage down as you can at the start of the fight. So you're probably not going to live to the end of the fight. With Marcus and Lead Island, though, you do want to try and look for fights in narrower corridors. They'll help you hit your skills easier. It gives Dylan better options for ulting. And Marcus is more likely to hit a dash. Hit his dash that way. Sorry, my cat's being so distracting. Should be okay now. Night 1, we're here for bears, which is good. A little bit anti-synergy there on the Marcus dash. These aren't the ideal bears, but considering that you guys got your routing delayed, they're a good option. One thing I like to do is this. So like typically the best bears to get, right, are if you can run like the gauntlet of like dock, warehouse, uptown, beach. Typically beach and uptown are kind of paired together and dock and warehouse are kind of paired together. Those are like your best zones for getting bears. You can also do stream and temple are pretty good for bears. The gas station alley bear are kind of like the leftovers, you know, like those are the sloppy seconds of bears, right? Like if you guys get delayed early game or don't get your build online or anything like that, like your best bet is trying to, like if there's no Nadine in the lobby, obviously, because Nadine runs this route, is to try and get the gas station alley bears. Didn't show up to a objective, which is okay. We are in archery, so you should get hunts and you can look to get the mutant horde there. That's kind of your constellation if you're not getting an objective, so not bad. I'm glad that we're not doing nothing. Before this fight, if you see the Isol, Estelle, Dema team, you want to be trying to poke down the Isol when you can. This will be a little bit hard with Estelle shield being able to block your rockets. Okay, right here we're too far forward. Okay. So we were way too far forward for that fight. Not only did you like get hit by everything because you're at the front of the fight, but you're so far forward that you got ulted backwards by demo ult, which should never happen for playing Haze or any backline character, which is good that it happened this early so that you should be able to recognize that that was your positioning and you're not hurt by it because you'll respawn. So right now you're good, right? Like where we are is good. We've got a narrow corridor to fire through. You got Estelle off to the side. Like right now, if we got 1 second on our ult, we pull our ult out and then we start firing rockets at this Isol and try and provide cover fire for the lead island who's running straight at where she thinks the Isol is because he's invisible, right? Like this is good. E forward here isn't ideal. EQ doesn't give us in range of Isol, right? And we're dashing into the Isol stun. Isol stun is single target for like locking on, but it's AoE stun if you're standing near it, right? Like this will stun you because you're next to the Marcus. So E there is not great. Lee Dai-Lin realizes she's not going to get the line of sight that she wants onto Isol because Estelle closed the gap and filled the gap here. So she's backing up, right? You have one teammate backing out and one teammate running forward. You need to still be where you are here, but without your E dash. You know, plus that's your only getaway. Now we're in line with our team. We have open line. Let me get my pen out. This Estelle water sound is so annoying. But we have a straight line from their enemy front line to you, from the Estelle to you. You're in fact the closest target to their Estelle. And the Isol is safe, right? Like we can't hit him here. Like nothing, he can't be hit here. So we need to be back here still. Like we should be back here behind your front line. Their position, this triangle that they have here is what you should have here. And you need to be back. The demo ult's gonna come across next, which I need to get this replay going so Estelle stops spraying water. Right? Demo now has flanked you. You and Dai-Lin need to be like switching positions almost. The demo has now flanked you. She has a straight line ult to ult you into her backline right to the middle of Estelle and Isol. And there's no way that either of these two can save you from that point. So once your teammates have realized that this has happened, they also need to just run, right? Like they've lost the fight. You're not really savable. Well, actually you might be savable because Estelle kind of fucked off for whatever reason. But if we either needed to blink dodge the demo ult preferably, but since we got hit by it, we need to blink out towards Lee Dai-Lin because that'll put you away from the Estelle. And Demo's kind of burned everything, so she's not too much of a threat. Now, this is AR Isol though, so he will rip through your health rather quickly. But I think because Estelle isn't on top of you like she should be, not sure why she's guarding this bush, you might be able to get out here. So like, instead we flash in a straight line kind of towards the Estelle. If you flashed over here, it at least puts Marcus and Lee Dai-Lin in your way. She's probably going to WQ you in a second. Probably WQ, Axe Skill, Blade of Truth. And that should be enough to finish you off. There's W, there's Q. She didn't Axe Skill Blade of Truth, but she definitely would have killed you had she had played that right. Demo followed up anyways, so a little unfortunate. But because they put themselves in a position to dive you, the Isol is open access to you, but if you look at the health bars, like it's too late, right? Like even if he dies, your team kills him, he's gonna take at least a quarter of the Dai-Lin's health and probably a quarter of the Marcus's health going down with him. And I believe Estelle still has ult. Oh no, she doesn't have ult yet. She didn't have ult for this fight, so this could have been definitely a really good fight because she didn't have ult. Isol ends up flashing from the Dai-Lin. Dai-Lin just needs to leave. And she's doing that, yeah. So a little bit of positioning there. Definitely want to keep your distance, especially against double melees. Marcus getting out here is kind of crazy. They've misplayed this fight multiple times, as well as you guys have, but they're not hurt too much by it instead. You will respawn though, so it's no huge deal. I would recommend making a call in here just because you guys are a little bit on the weaker side. You know, didn't end up getting the horde, didn't get any of the hunts here. You're probably a little bit ahead of some teams, but like we're on 5 mastery, right? Like at this point, we're very behind for your damage dealer, and it's going to be on these two to try and get some damage across. This is the team that's also very far behind, so you might have a chance against those in a fight. I would definitely recommend going to a battle zone if you're this far behind, getting like the fight against other players, even if you don't win it. Getting that mastery will be very crucial, and almost because like it's guaranteed that you probably won't win a battle zone against any other team other than this Laura team. Dying quickly and then respawning in a mutant horde zone, it's probably your best play. Alternatively, you could just go to a mutant horde zone because you're here. Getting all these beach bears plus horde will be a nice chunk of XP. Beach is kind of the best zone for this. It also is really good because the 3 battle zones were all on the other side of the map, so I don't hate this play. I just think that you could have gambled for more mastery a bit. You will be getting 5 bears, which is huge. And you guys, because you're so far behind, all you guys need to be hitting all of these bears. Like, you guys don't really have... Well, at least you. Maybe Dylan can sacrifice 1, because she's 9, but you need to be at least part of every single bear, because you need all the mastery you can get at this point. Now that you got your Night 2 bear, you can look for uptown bears as well. I would probably path that way or into forest to look for forest bear, and then you can contest forest tree that will be respawning, or not respawning, but spawning in the start of day 3. If you do go to that forest tree though, I would look to peel off rather quickly because you're still worrying about getting yourself back in the game. But look how much XP that was, right? Like you got 3 levels of mastery just from 5 berries. So that's very good for helping you back in the game. I think I changed my mind. I think it's better, like, if you're not to go to that, like, a nearby battle zone. I think it is better to just go to the mutant horde. I think that's the right play after seeing that. Especially because you're getting uptown bears too. So I think that's pretty big. Should see pings in warehouse, know that there's the team there. Oddly, that is the team that you should be able to fight. Can look for them. Make sure, again, positioning. We're too close to the Leon at the moment. Okay, good dodge on the ult. I like that how quickly you got back into getting out damage. Saw that the Leon's not a threat, dodged his ult, and then immediately into rockets trying to poke out the rest of the team again. So really good play there. Reaction time, I think, has been the main issue. You gotta blink that, right? Like you just gotta react quicker. There's no other explanation to it. You have blink up, I believe. Like this is really good. This was all a really good play. And then once you see that your lead Eileen is on the other side of the map here, you have to be thinking defensively, right? Like this is probably not going to be something you turn, and if you do turn it, it's going to be difficult. So think defensively here. You see Leon, you know he's going to he's going to QE. He blinks forward. Right now is when you have time to react, right? Because he has to use 2 spells. So Q, and then you either blink up this way or blink over this wall. You have level 1 blink, so you're probably not going to make it over that wall, so you probably have to blink up this way. Even if you blink up this way and then W, I think you can loop back towards lead Eileen. Marcus might go down, but that's better than both of you dying. Or even if you blink downwards, like regardless, we're getting a Ray from getting comboed, you're still full health, and you can look to start putting out damage again. Because I think otherwise both of you guys die here. Which again, it's still before day 3, so it's not the worst thing in the world. But it is avoidable. Like this is an avoidable death, I think, for at least one of you. And then like you don't know what they'll do, right? Like you blink out this way. Do they just leave Marcus alone to run down? Do they try and follow you? Do they split? Like do 2 people go up to you, 1 person go down to Marcus? Like it creates more opportunity for them to misplay. This is a really risky TP for Dylin. She decided to TP in the middle of 2 battle zones, which is a little rough. Unless she had radar scan, we can't really tell with the spectating being glitched. So I'm gonna assume maybe she had radar scan and this was empty. But there was a team here, so I don't actually know. But now's a good time to make a call in again. You have 200 credits. Realistically, you would be the one to res and these fights, so holding on to credits here is not bad, but I think because you're so far behind, like being able to res is kind of a luxury that you guys don't have. Good ults here, giving you time, giving your team time to get away, which is good. But yeah, I think that unfortunately saving for res is not going to be something that you guys are able to do, and I think you need to get another transition down so that you can start like keeping up in damage with the rest of the lobby. Really good play here. I'm glad that you weren't sitting in the bush with them and sitting outside the bush just behind it. And they did a really good dodge in the bush so that they didn't give away anything. Good play here on the Luke. Get your spacing and then get your damage down, force him to walk into you. All that's left is Adela. Make sure you dodge Queen. Yeah. That Adela almost did something there. That would have been crazy.
Should we take bets that you can catch more people?
She went for it. But that was a really good trap that you guys set there.
This is the beginning. You need to be prepared too.
Wolves coming up here. You guys can stick around for them and then hopefully make a call in. You are sitting on 400 credits now. I would like to see you get maybe even 2 transitions in. What did I just hear? One of my alerts went off. Oh,
Watch where you're going.
who was that? Thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the Demon Gang. I think that was one of my YouTube notes, but appreciate it. I forgot I have those on because I don't really get stuff during live gameplay. But whoever that was, thank you. I don't have my activity feed open. Kara Garga, I think that's pronounced. Thank you for subscribing. Appreciate it. Okay, good. I'm glad we got 2 transitions offline here. I like that a lot. Helps with the pacing. We're back in the game, kinda. And there's only 4 teams left, so we're actually looking okay. 12 mastery, we're still a little bit under, but if you get multiple spell rotations off in this fight, that can compensate. Purple black's down here. You guys can look to grab. There is teams nearby, so be careful. That's a crazy face check. If that team was there a little bit quicker, that Marcus would be dead. Careful walking up. If you get pulled by Cicella, you probably will instantly die. I know you want to get all 4 rockets of damage down. It's not worth risking your life for just to get that last rocket in. It's a crazy face check from Chiara. She knew you guys were just there too. Insane face check, actually. We're doing some standing around here. We need to make a play. You have 1 team with... oh, there's a purple box here. Okay, cool. I wasn't sure if this purple box was real or not. 1 team escaped, which we would see in chat. And you know 1 team just lost a member and we'll have to spend some time calling in. and you know that because they died in pond, they're not near a call-in console. They'd have to run all the way down. And it's likely actually that they probably won't get the call in their teammate with considering how the map spread. It's more of an advanced tip, is kind of reading the map. You know that the only consoles available right now are school. You can kind of get one by calling it in police station, and then kind of get one by calling it in hospital. So by like kind of being on this side of the map, you kind of limit 2 of them. If you get vision of both school and police station, and I think because you're so far behind, you can kind of play for second, like making sure this team doesn't get a res, rather than trying to beat this team. So I would stay on this side of the map. You got Wick up here. There's lots of reason to be up here, and you know if they didn't if they don't make this hospital call in, they're probably not going to get their teammate, and so I would make sure you're keeping an eye on this console here. What you don't want to do is get sucked into a fight fighting this team before the final fight, because there's a good chance that team can beat you in a fight, and it also means that the rat team is going to place higher than you. Unless you get a pick on them, like out of vision, it's likely that you don't want that fight. You can harass them on Wick though. That's gonna help. This team did get their Chiari back in, unfortunately. You have seen the call-in, so you should know that they're behind you, and that you should know that you're in the middle of 2 teams right now and need to kind of get out of this area. This team is probably not going to start Wick knowing that you're nearby, so go ahead and get this console. You now have vision of both of the other teams. Use that information. We're a little bit too far from this team because now they're getting Wick. You should be like right behind this team, following them down. That's a crazy check by Luke too. So now that you're not in the middle, this is good. You guys should be like right here hovering, because you can now come third party. And you know, like you get here a little bit quicker, like this is your fight win. It still might be your fight win because you see it. Nice. Nice. And all that's left is a 3v1. So really good play there. Glad you didn't miss your window. You were a little slow on here. You do want to make sure you're getting here a little bit quicker than what you did, but you didn't miss your window. That's good. Good play, especially because you're playing from behind. Know that you can't take that team in a fair fight, so really good not to fight them on Wick. Good decision there. In terms of mechanics, yeah, it's just the fight at the start was really bad from what we start. That last fight though, poked out with rockets was good, kept your distance, stayed behind your lead island and your Marcus, both very good. So I think it was more so just a misplay. I don't think that's like you lacking mechanical skill. I think you definitely have more skill than you think you have. So play with a little bit more confidence and try to just remember that triangle. Just stay behind your teammates if you can. If you have 2 melees. All right, 2 people left. I think we will get through everyone, which is good. I don't think I've ever gotten through 8 people before. Oh, Len, you're gonna end up being the last. Okay, we have Melos and then we have Len. They're playing Elena, not with a pre-made team. They want help with looting, pathing, team fights, and decision making, for sure. So for this one, we'll at the start focus with like looting and pathing, making sure you're going the right direction, making sure you're keeping speed, all the good shit. And you said you're playing Elena. Okay, starting at Uptown. See how we do. A little slow off the boxes, that's okay. We're looting in the right direction. Nice, okay. And then We got E to hyperloop. Good. Very good uptown so far. Click those boxes a little bit quicker, but that's a good uptown. Spawned in hospital. There's people in the zone. Don't forget this container here. You can probably go car, barrel, container, car, and then all the way up. It's probably a little bit quicker. If you do need 2 zones, a little unfortunate. One thing you can do is off the start, like when you spawn in, take a look at who's spawning where. So you know that you're going uptown and hospital. So you want to look ahead to your second zone in hospital here. You want to see that someone is spawning in the top zone, second one in top zone, and then one in this zone here. You can infer that these are the looted zones. It's kind of hard when there's 3 people. If you need items, like a lot of items in hospital, you can try and grab the container behind you and then loot up. But if you just need a little bit of items, you can kind of gamble to loot behind somebody. Also, this replay broke, I think. Yeah, this replay broke, so I'll reload it. But yeah, look ahead to your second zone at the start is a good tip. Try and figure out where people are going to be looting containers. You don't want to look ahead too many zones because it's kind of likely to change as people are TPing in, but you can look ahead 2 zones. Yeah, replay system still bugs on occasion. I don't think that's ever going to get fixed. So we spawn here, we look ahead, we see these are taken, and that means you can grab these as well. This isn't a zone, but this is just some one-offs if you need it. We'll get back to where we were. Eventually too, if you're checking too many zones and you still can't find your items, it's better to just call them in. It's not worth it to try and look through 3 different distributions, especially if you're sharing with a teammate too now. Like, it's probably better to just move on. When you're crafting, you want to craft as you're either making room in your inventory or when your mobility spell is down. Yours is still up, so you want to use that first and then craft, so that way you're crafting while it's on cooldown. We also didn't use it to get between hospital and stream, so make sure you're doing that. Also, for taking hunts, probably want to wait for like tanks like Elena. You want to make sure you have a little bit more items just because you don't have as much damage. That wasn't terribly slow, but it was still a little bit slow. But I like that you grouped them up. That was really good. Also, typically, another trick that you can do, which I'll cover in a future video, is that you can aggro the 2 Huns and then pull them over and start looting boxes and then crafting and looting at the same time. And then in between your spells on cooldown, craft, and then you hit them while they're off cooldown, and then you craft, and then it's a good tip that you can do for spellcasters. It also speeds time up. That's the way you're going to do it if you're going to take hunts earlier than completing your items typically. I have a video coming in the future called like, I think I'm going to call it like top tips that pro players use that you might not know. And I'm going to talk about like stuff like that where it's like optimizing. So now that we're 3 item, you can look to take some hunts if you can. It'll be a little bit easier to take that way. These I think you would need leather for, so you might not have been able to get it, but we're full build. We're in pond. You could contest these bears if you're a little bit quicker on your build, but we're not, so not gonna get there in time. As a tank, you kind of want to group up with your team. That's kind of what you're doing here, which is really good. you don't have enough damage to try and pick off solo kills onto people. This should be a kill on Shara here. Sorry about that. Good kill there. In terms of looting and pathing though, that was really good. Other than like not using your E here. You're still on time for your build. We were a little bit slow for bears, but in terms of like getting your build, you were on time. So no problems there. Your next question was about team fights and decision making. In terms of team fights for this comp, because you're the single front line of this comp, it's kind of the same as the 11 game I talked about earlier, where you're going to try and position yourself in between the danger and your hedging. Elena being native utility, you basically just want to look for freezes. You also want to be down here fighting with your team. You kind of took the long way around. I would have taken this path down here. Fight kind of going this way anyways, but you did get there. But you're kind of just getting freezes for people, peeling for your hedging if you can. Kathy's a pretty independent character. She likes to do her own thing in a fight, so you don't have to worry too much about her. If she gets a double suture though, play off that, get your ult down, get some freezing down, because Kathy's probably going to ult off of it. But in terms of that, it's just peeling for hedging. Careful using your E like that. That is your only escape, so you do want to try and get freezes down without using your E. So like there, you would have hopefully wanted to skate out. That's also just a like recognizing when the fight's lost. You gotta recognize it a little bit earlier. The first game I talked about recognizing when the fight's lost. I would definitely watch that. I would try and go back, but I want the replay to break. But I do explain it in game 1. So day 2, we didn't get to an objective, which is okay, but we also didn't get to a horde, either up in archery, which I think is still up, or in factory, which is probably not up considering there's teams around there. Gonna go for the run back on this team though. I know it can be tempting to dive this Luke, but it's not the best play to do so. So when you push someone out of a fight, right? Like they're because of low health, you know, what's the difference at this point between them being dead and them being out of the fight? Literally nothing. This Luke cannot re-enter the fight without healing first. So he's going to have to go fuck off and heal. You don't need to chase after him because there's nothing he's going to be able to do. If he goes back in, he's just going to die. It's either to residual damage or Hedgen hitting 1Q or Kathy hitting 1W, right? So now you focus on the 3v2. Target selection between Echion and or untransformed weapon Echion and 11 is fine. It doesn't matter who you're hitting here. But once again, remember what I said about putting yourself between the danger of Hedgen and the enemy. So like if realistically, because Hedgen is playing back here, you guys would want to be hitting the Echion. Kathy left to do her own thing and dive. But in the early game, it's not that big of a deal because the difference between you playing with Hedgen and you playing with Kathy is so minuscule that it's not going to matter. But definitely in the late game, you want to be peeling for this Hedgen. You know, Kathy's either going to get her one shot or she's not. And that's a good freeze onto Echion as well. Careful with your E's. You know, like, Eing isn't necessarily a part of your combo. Try with QWs to get as much freezes, and then when, like, someone gets away like that, that's when you want to E. Echion can E through you guys for forever. So you do have to kind of be careful, right? Like, this is a better use of E. Q backwards a little bit. Skill shots are hard. You guys did end up getting the kill though, which is good. Just be a little bit more mindful about kind of spamming spells and running off and E usage. And look, now Luke's healed. He's not in this fight anymore. It doesn't look like you guys are going to be able to get to a battle zone unless you hyperloop. You guys could hyperloop, or you could just take the alpha that's here considering how much you guys have been fighting, you guys are pretty good on mastery. You might as well just sit here and take the alpha. I think it's a decent play. Hedging can get dressed from it. Kathy can get dressed from it. And you got bears respawning here too. So probably the better play is to just get these bears. You do want to make sure you're hitting it with them. I know they kind of started it early, but EW does get you over walls, I believe. And this is the team you just beat. Like if you just beat them, okay, there's another team here, but if you just beat this team once, you can definitely beat them again. Barring that you didn't beat them because of misplays or anything. Really good play to back out once you saw that there's multiple teams here. I believe you guys should have the console vision or should have taken it. Okay, you guys don't, but you guys should have taken it after your first fight win before the bears. So got it now. Can look to push enemies away. If you don't have to lead with E, you typically don't want to. Really good hedge and W there. I would have ulted a little bit quicker off of that, but you know this other team's around too, so typically you wouldn't want to take this fight. Now, it is before day 2, so it is okay as long as hedging gets out here, or hedging and Kathy both get out. But like you knew this team was around. Not exactly the best time to take a fight here. It's not too big of a deal though. You do want to be careful with how much you're dying in the early game though. Like these aren't bad deaths. Like you're dying during team fights, which is fine. It's just that it is losing out on mastery every time you die. Good kill onto the Kathy by Hedgen. We're kind of in the middle of the team fight again without healing. Alpha is actually going to save you a little bit there. This is pretty decent positioning. They're a little bit strong because they were able to set up where you just had to like spawn in. So I wouldn't worry about that too much, but you got a lot of damage down, you got a lot of freezing down. That's probably as good as you could have played that fight. Hedgen makes a good play and leaves before the fight's over. So, big bike accident. That's kind of like what I was talking about with 11, right? Like these guys were all low health, so Magnus biked into the middle of his team and he ended up just dying. That's why it's like not always the best play to dive 1v3 as a tank. And like they're gonna get wiped for it. Like it's a little tragic, but that's how it happens. So we respawned in factory at the other alpha. It's also empty, which is good. So you guys should be able to pick this up, as well as a ton of hunts in the zone. There's only 3 teams left. If you ever, like radar scan just hit, right? For day 3. If you ever are in this position where there's only 3 teams left on day 2, go to every objective. Like literally go to every single objective you can find. Go, if you think there might be bears up, go there. Like whatever you want to go to, because it's most likely gonna be up. It's most likely gonna be free. And you can save a lot of your credits from calling in stuff just by like going around and collecting these objectives. Like this team here has just got an alpha. They were going to get this purple box. They just got this tree. They can probably walk up and get this purple box. Like there's so much they can grab. This team here, same thing. Purple box, tree. They could walk up here, get meteorite. They could get the horde that was here, or that will be here in the day. Like the less teams on the map, the less call-ins you have to make. So you guys should be able to get this horde here. There are the wolves here, but you have to walk in the opposite direction. Should have probably started with them. And I think if this box hasn't spawned yet, it's hard to tell with the replay. You guys can make a call-in and then walk to it. I think if this team shows up, you do have to leave. They're going to be much stronger than you after all the objectives that they just got. You also should be calling in too. You have 500 credits. They're going to get this horde up here too. They're going to be very strong. Your mithrils should probably come out for legs of steel. Your whatever guardian suit or whatever Elena builds, blazing dress, mithril armor. wherever you choose to go. Also, make sure your inventories, don't do this. Don't craft on the box because it's just wasting time for someone else to call in. Just clear out your inventory. You could just drop the water, pick up your item, and then get out of the way so that someone else can make their call in. Kathy's looking pretty decent on 2 transitions. Hedgens should have 3 or 4, I think. She's got 3 now. She's playing bow Hedgen. I would like to see you make another call in. You're also melee, gonna be in the middle of the fight. Probably not gonna be the one to res. So I think your call in plus this purple box would have been good. Or going to a mega because it's now day 3. Yeah, you can see these 2 other teams on the map. You know they're gonna have to TP in late, so you guys get there first. Grabbing this purple box too, which is good because you know that this chapel team might TP in. If they don't, yeah, this call-in's a little slow. We're wasting a little bit of time because of how long it took to get to the call-in hospital, which is a little unfortunate, but this Omega should be yours. Which is good. You guys can also head up to archery and pick up a meteorite and a purple box, and then head down to hotel and pick up a purple box. I would honestly just TP straight from here. If they're still available, you know that that chapel team didn't TP in, or if they did, then they're fighting the other team who didn't have, I believe, like, if they had, like with 3 teams, right? Like they're either fighting or the objective's being taken. So you can kind of like keep an eye on objectives that way by like what goes missing. And that should help you guys get back into the game, hopefully to fight this William team, because you guys know that they're probably the only team stronger than you guys. You guys are still very strong. You also have the timer for these bears. I think they're gone now because of the other team, but you can always head down in that direction as well. And that'll lead you to a 3rd party. Oh, they already wiped them. Okay. So with 2 teams, you know that there's a 1v1. You can infer that it's probably the William team too because of how strong they were earlier. If you see them on radar scan here, you can look to play slow. Let Hedgen poke out first. Block this for your Hedgen. Please do not let Magnus bike into your backline. We're kind of pushed out of the fight here. Okay, we'll see if I can go back. So like right here, right? We get radar scan. You know they're coming. Don't get the Hedgen W onto Debbie and Marlene, unfortunately. But we're doing good. We're in between our Hedgen. We're in between our Kathy. You're on the front lines. You're holding off this corridor. This corridor is very good for a Kathy. It's very good for Hedgen. It's also pretty good for William and Magnus, but it's pretty good for you as well. It's pretty good for Dema. Like, this isn't a bad spot to fight for anybody, so you know that this is probably where the fight's gonna come out. Right here, we duck off to the side for whatever reason, instead of just like falling back a little bit. You might be able to hear Magnus bike from this far away. If not, no worries, but you should be in front of your Hedgen anyways. As you come up here, now you definitely should be able to see it as well as hear it. And you can see Dema making a straight line at your Hedgen, right? Like, your job here at this point, and it's kind of a little unfortunate because you can't skate back because of this box is in the way, but you need to be in between their enemy team and your backline. Now, you can't tank for this team against the William because he's so far ahead, so you do have to peel back. At this point, they have the fight advantage. You just kind of have to reset, right? Because you don't have a marksman on your team, which means you can't play front to back. Teams with marksmans always will beat teams without marksmans when playing front to back. You guys have to look up for a pick on this William. And right now, Magnus has a straight shot into the Hedgen. So this fight is not going to go your way regardless. Dema kind of pokes you out to the side and you're taking William damage. Kathy has a good angle on the William. If he gets this kill here, this could be salvageable, especially with Hedgen eating forward. If she eats through the Magnus and they both explode this William, this should be okay. Demo kind of misplays by going after you here. Yeah, so right now they have a really good flank on this William. If you had stayed in and blocked the bike for Hedgen too, like that also would have been all three of you guys right here on top of this William. Instead of turning too, Demo's gonna keep chasing you. So at this point, because of what's happened, it's your job to just kind of get away from her. They will explode this William, which is huge. Demo tries to save it by ulting backwards, but she kind of misplayed too far. So now you can look to re-engage the fight. Start taking your food. You're good. You start eating your food, so you can start making your way back. At this point, you need to recognize that Demo's not chasing you anymore. Like, any distance going this way is just wasted time of getting back to your team. Magnus is so far out of position. By the time that, like, if you're around, like this spot here, you would probably get back to the fight at the same time Magnus did, right? So even if you skate back, you still have tactical skill to buy you some time. The damage dealer is dead. Honestly, this is kind of just a 2v3 gap from your Kathy and Hedgen, but good freeze there. Make sure you keep sticking onto the Demo. She might... It's kind of tough. I think Hedgen still can win this. She can't walk up as close as she does, but she also can't stay too far away that the Demo can res. She needs the bow skill on top of this. Oh, she went forward. Oh, that's a bit of a misplay. Okay. Hedgen unfortunately misplayed that a little bit, but I think that was winnable for you guys. But yeah, just kind of recognize what the threat was, kind of your role in the team. And then if you execute that fight a little bit better, I think you guys win that. Your Kathy made a really good play to explode the William. And last but not least, we have Len. Last game of the day. Yeah, we really got through 8 games. All right, Len. Play went random teammates. You were playing Haze. I feel like there's something I'm missing in combat. I always get separated, or my team ends up behind me and the enemy jumps me. Flanks do happen on occasion. We can definitely look at that, see if it's a positioning thing or if you're just getting flanked. One thing that I think everyone needs to like remember, and this is like any elo, is that players do just make good plays sometimes. Like if a flanker just makes a good play on you, like that happens and you will die for it. They did their job. And that's kind of their role as like either like an assassin or like a flanking character to try and get you to die. Oh my god, my cat. Cat keeps stepping on my keyboard. Stop. So we'll focus mostly on the team fights for this last game. A lot of Haze players. I think we had 3 or 4 Haze games today. At least like half of them. Riding tips kind of go the same as the last game. Make sure you're crafting when your spells are on cooldown, not just like in the middle of the open area when you're at boxes, when your inventory is full, etc., etc. We go over crafting all the time.
Like cold things. Increase water pressure. How about washing your face? More water.
Could have potentially looked to harass that Leon a little bit. Just get some mastery on him. QE. QEQ. He had no weapon, so he's no threat to you. You don't have to chase him down for a kill, but helps with just with the mastery. Other way around. But yeah. Pick up the wolves here is good. See if you look for a bear zone soon. Just focus on hitting your spells more to be quicker. You got your prep, which is good too. Your team currently. Your Luke's at a bear, and your Nikki's not. So I would look to group up with Luke here. Could help him get the bears, get some hunts, and you could probably run down the temple, get the bears here, and then look to get temple tree. I think it's probably your best course of action. Getting prep is good, but if it delays like you too long, it's not that great. Kind of crazy this Rozzy just doesn't kill you here. I feel like she definitely should. TP to Nikki. I guess your Luke's in a fight. It probably would have been better to TP to Luke, to be honest. There's no bears down here. These hunts are all taken. Your Lucky is struggling on items though. So yeah. Okay, no. If your Nikki's low on items, that is the better play to make. You can help her stay alive to get those items. Luke probably should have TP'd to the Nikki as well instead of looking to farm down here. But it's fine. Once the Nikki's like good in getting items back online, then you can look for a tree. It looks like you guys are gonna go for some tree, which is fine. Luke can make his way over to you. These are random teammates though, so we'll see if they actually do that. I like your decision making so far though. 15 seconds though, you do want to be like closer to the tree because you want to be here right as it spawns in case there's another team nearby. Like you don't want this Vanya to get it for free. Luke can just hop across too to get there.
Now would be a good time to watch where you're going.
Vanya's not going for it, but it's likely she could have gotten it in time before you got there. Vanya, a very good character at escaping as well. You would never catch her as Haze with W or E. Radar scan would have showed you that there's no one on it. So you would have seen the Vanya walk down instead of up, but no worries. Checking is never... like, avoiding face checking and just checking never hurts, so... This probably should go to you for Scotty. Inventory was full, so you didn't grab it.
Should we take bets that you can catch more people?
I don't know how good of a first transition Black Widow is. From the Hazes that we've seen today, they've almost all gone Black Widow last, so... I would check with the test subject Discord, see what Haze's transitions are. I think Scotty is probably a better option there. Even Glacials. This poor Felix is in hell.
You need to
Doesn't have any of his build. Looks like he was AFK at the start. Pick up a kill with this Jackie here. I like that we're moving towards Hospital. Hospital's a day zone, so that was really good.
too.
Shoichi here. Mutant Horde, definitely a bigger priority here. Kind of help the Luke with Mutant Horde. He might die to that. He's gonna die to that. Chasing the Shoichi, probably not the best play. Even if it is, like you get a kill, which is good. But like, this Mutant Horde is so much XP. Like, definitely better to probably just get those. You already got your kill on the Jackie, so not that big of a threat. And it looks like another team's gonna come get this Horde now, so Probably should have gotten that one first. Oh, I was gonna walk right by it. Oh, her team's not with her. Okay, well, you guys should be able to get it then. You might have to fight for it though. I should know that you're here because Nikki called in, so they have the knowledge advantage. And it looks like they are going to contest you on it. You guys can try and push your way into this battle zone. You need to craft that item though. You guys did make it in. Hopefully you take time to craft this tree for Scotty first. Yeah, it looks like they're backing up. So get the Scotty down. Honestly, I would probably take this horde as well because it's so much XP if they let you. I kind of bot walks into your team though, so. Okay. We had good positioning over the car when you're, or over the truck fighting. We're in good position now. The E into the heart was a little questionable, but forced her to dance, so it wasn't bad. Other than the E up here, I think this was pretty good positioning. And now you guys get the horde, which is huge. Ton of XP. You guys should also... Oh, these wolves are probably gone as well. You can probably walk up and make another call in. You should see pings on these wolves, so you should know that there's someone in the hospital, and you have the timer for these wolves. Cameras aren't on, so you can infer that your team just got here or it's not a full team. If you smart cast your W, I'd recommend, or quick cast your W, I'd recommend just not quick casting it because it seems like you're a little bit short on the range each time. I don't know if it's just because you value the empowered auto attack more, but I think it's probably more beneficial to not quick cast it, or at least use the indicator so you can see the range. There was pings over here, so definitely don't want to face check this bush or walk by it. I know there's pings up on here as well, but at least throw a Q in it or alt it, either one. Careful of stepping. Okay, we went too far here. Careful of taking these fights without vision. Also without your Nikki. This is good that you're backing up here, but being forward should be a little bit more cautious. Also, walking up like that in melee range. I know the fight's already won, but it's just not a good habit to have.
You need to be prepared too. This is the beginning.
And you guys will be able to grab a tree here and a purple box. So that should be good for you guys. Probably start getting the Luke some transitions as well. You can probably take whatever's in the purple box. Elena here. Kind of just 1v3. This team has been split up a lot, so good kill. Pick up the meteorite. It was a meteorite. Oh, I can combine it with this tree to make a 4-square. Oh no, she didn't pick it up yet. Mithril. So that's probably dress for you. And then this Luke can make a 4-square with this tree. Or just go tree plus Pegasus. I haven't seen a crit Luke in a while. It looks like the cause of the positioning issues has been like Eing forward. I'd just be hesitant about when you E forward. I know you want to get a ton of damage down with the EQ, but you also got to pick the right time. Like you can do it when enemies use cooldowns, but careful about EQing into melee range, also EQing at the start of fight. Like once you like in that case, like once you see Leon QE, then you can E forward, but just be careful about when you do it. Gonna make a call in here. Meteorite. Oh no, 4-square. Should be for Persona. This should be good. You guys should know that you're very strong as well, even though you missed so many objectives. Oh no, you didn't miss the objective. You got it. you got Sentry, so that's one objective. You got the Horde, that's another one. You won the Battle Zone, that's another one. You got the Tree, you got a Purple Box, and you've got an Animal RNG. You should know that you're very far ahead compared to most other teams, so you don't really need to save for res. You can kind of push your advantage as well. You will get another Horde up here if you guys walk up, so I would at least assume that you're the strongest team in the lobby. Shouldn't be too afraid to take any fights. Just be careful about third party. Make sure you get your established vision before you take any fights. And there's double purple box coming up here, so you guys can path that way. Or you can path back down to your bears. You guys already got this purple box, so probably pathing up. Oh, that purple box isn't red. You guys can path up to this purple box, and you guys can see that a team just took it. So you know there's at least one team in front of you. I would just floor it at this team. Like, I think you just, like, be careful with where you walk, but you guys can kind of walk towards any team you want at this point. I know it's hard to do that because you're the Haze and you kind of need Nikki to walk first, but just have the mindset that you're the strongest team right now. You shouldn't be afraid to take any fight, especially when you're this far ahead. Like, you guys have 11 transitions. Most other teams aren't going to have 11. Other than this team. This team somehow also has 11. I don't know where they would have gotten all those, but especially because that's the team you beat in the battle zone. They must have gotten some crazy animal RNG, which happens. Make sure you're grabbing console as you walk by. You'd be able to see this team here. And that will give you a pretty good idea of how strong they are if you saw them. You should not be TPing first, especially into an objective zone. Let the Luke TP first, or the Nikki. Anyone with you, basically. You guys should be able to get this. You can pull it. Well, in 10 seconds, maybe you don't. I don't know if androids explode. Androids might not, actually. We'll have to be careful of radar. This team over here sees you now, but they shouldn't be able to fight you. They're also missing a member, so they definitely shouldn't fight you. Next time, just pull this towards the edge of the zone so that you don't have to waste as much timer. You also would have been able to see that this blue team is split. The last team is in hospital. So you know that you can try and take this fight with these people. You want to try and get them before they get to the hyperloop, or walk up and take this tree so it's available. Basically anything to like try and start out the lobby. My voice is starting to go a little bit. Please don't face check this. Good Q check. Your teammates are face checking it, which is a little unfortunate. They should just wait for you to rock it. It is 3v2 though, so it's a pretty easy fight. I'm glad you didn't face check that though. You made a good play there.
Victory is one step closer.
3 teams, like same as last game. 3 teams on day 4. You don't have to be too careful about how you move around the map. Definitely have to check for face checking. What is Bernice doing here? Oh, he's AFK. That's fine, I guess. Pick up a kill. You do want to make sure you're at Wick or close to Wick though, as well. You know, once again, when you're this strong, Wick is a game loser, not really a game winner. So you don't want any other teams to be getting Wick. If this team gets Wick, you might even need Wick to fight this team. Pick up a purple box here too on the way. You can infer that the other team's not here because Wick hasn't been started yet. Same thing they can infer about you as well. With 3 teams, right, it's likely that you're not going to be able to stall out any other team's Wick, which is why I kind of say you should go to Wick when it's like low teams. If there's like 5 or 6 teams left, like in like a high elo like rank game, it's likely that the game's not going to end anytime soon, and that Wick will probably time out for the Wick team before anyone gets it, or before the game ends rather. But this is basically 2 teams left because the lead island's on her own, and she doesn't look like she's gonna be calling in her teammates. The other team just kind of random TP'd in. That was a little crazy. I'm surprised they didn't just walk up to Wick. I think you guys just send it after you get vision on the console, which we walked by. Pretty much whenever you walk into a new zone, you want to be taking console. It's like a good habit to be in. Like, you just avoiding vision is never helpful. Random blink there for whatever reason. Oh, I think this is a bot team actually. That might be a bot team. But good that you got Wick. You're gonna have a final fight against the team that you beat. Your job in this fight is gonna be to poke down the enemy team with rockets. They're 3 ranged characters, so they should have like pretty good chance at getting hit by them. They're all going to be in like a line-ish, right? Like Vanya might play in front, Heart might play in front because she has charm, but for the record, anyone that you hit is going to be a good target. Poking down Vanya is good because it makes it harder for her to step up and ult. Poking down Aya and Heart are good because they're the primary damage dealers. What you don't want to do is have Nikki or Luke engage before you get a chance to get your poke down, especially with Wick. You almost want to get like 2 or 3 rounds of rockets down before you even think about engaging. It's very close. You guys would have been able to see them there had you had vision console again. You're taking it now, which is good. Better than never, I guess. You do have to kind of be careful for the Heart ult. You need to stay far enough back to where you can hit outside the Heart ult, especially with your ult. Nikki and Luke don't really have that luxury. Careful walking into the team. You gotta react a lot quicker than that to taking damage. That's way too much damage to be taking at the start of the fight. You will heal it up, which is good. And pretty much every time your rocket comes off cooldown, you want to be hitting it. So we walked up a little bit too close there, but you're basically out of the ult. Good dodge on the Vanya ult. Your team is doing okay, I think, cleaning up the rest of the fight. Yeah, so good positioning there. You stayed far enough back. You kind of got hit by the Heart ult. You kind of got hit by the Aya ult. If you were just a little bit farther back, you would have avoided it and could have still put out damage, but you're far enough away that you didn't put yourself in danger, so that was good. Your question was about like flanking in terms of like if you get killed by like a Daniel or like a Luke or Shoichi, Kathy, like that's kind of their job, right? Like it sucks, but it's like you can kind of counter that by positioning and being aware, but you kind of need a teammate to also react with you. They're just doing their job. It's not really your job to kind of get out of those. The like best of the best play that can happen is that they don't kill you, obviously, but like I mean, like there's no like formula for like dodging Daniel or Kathy. It's like you just gotta kind of like avoid their skill shots, avoid their damage, react accordingly, especially with Haze. Damn, I wish I could play Haze as good as that. Len's a good Haze player. That was a good, well played. Really good games today too, though, and like in total. I appreciate you guys getting through all the submissions, and I'm glad I got through all the submissions too, because I feel like I haven't been doing that many each week, but we got through 8 today, so that felt good. Thank you guys for coming out to stream. I appreciate it. That will be the end of me. I'll probably do timestamps tomorrow, or maybe later tonight. I'm gonna make dinner right now, So timestamps will be a little bit delayed, and I'll update the doc. But I appreciate you guys coming out. Hopefully the VOD will be nicer too with background music. I know my ads played a few times, so I'll try and find a solution for that. Might just be like finding like a lo-fi Spotify playlist that's not copyright, but who knows. Submission date for next round of replays will be October 12th. I encourage you guys all to submit. But that will be it for this session. Thank you so much for coming out, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning when I upload my Alonso reaction. Be sure to check that out. It's a fun character. Go watch the trailer if you haven't watched the trailer yet. It's a really good trailer. I like it a lot. Super excited to play him. Okay, bye. Thank you guys. See ya.